Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the mini endurance race in this GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series this season. I guess sprint from that part can be maybe removed just for this week, because this is a 2.5 hour long endurance race billed as a mini endurance. I'll take the mini out of that. I think this is for a one-driver league where there are no driver swaps or anything like that. This is a proper endurance test of skill, as always, but also the stamina of these guys as well. How long can you stay concentrated for at one of the most iconic racetracks in the world, Spa? It's a good job these guys haven't had any track learning to do, or not much this week. This is one of the most famous, one of the most well-trodden paths in motorsport, of course, but the format is different this week than it will be on every single of the other rounds this season, and it is, and as I say, the longest race of the season by far. So let's see what happens tonight. Should be interesting. Myself, Ian O'Leary, and James Parfitt with you for the action. As I say, James, this is for a one-driver league where there's no driver changes, a proper endurance. You could argue in the modern day that the car's reliability and whatever means that 2.5 hours is less of an endurance, or indeed not one at all, just a slightly longer sprint race. And that might still be true, but these drivers have got to do this whole race on their own, with pit stop strategy to work out all the way through as well. This is a proper test of their endurance, even if not a test of a machine's endurance anymore.
A Windows update. Anyway, back now. I think this is going to be one of them things where they're going to have to sit back and, well, I just hope that people are going to be there giving them drinks and stuff, because 2.5 hours, I couldn't do it, mate. I couldn't do it.
Well, the people giving us drinks, if that's on the table.
Mate, I got a takeaway cup of coffee. Just
I've taken the biggest glass of water from my house and and I put it next to me.
But yeah, I think this is the thing. Is there's a lot to go, isn't there, as Spa as well? You know, we're looking at a 20-turn racetrack, 9 to the left, 11 to the right, and totaling about 7.004 kilometres in length. And you know, I couldn't get through 2.5 hours. I struggled to concentrate for 45 minutes. That's the problem. I got an attention span of a goldfish. Like, you got a memory of a goldfish. My attention span is exactly the same. I'd float to one end of the fish tank and I'd completely forgot that I'd actually got there and go to the other end. It's just ridiculous. So no, I couldn't do that either. We've got a few people in YouTube chat already. Travis Collier, let's go Kaysen. Jake has put some wonderful emojis. And SGT picks up on what we said about coffee. He said, good one, coffee. I've got coffee. I'm in the UK, it's like 11 at night and I'm sitting here with a big flask of coffee. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think we can take out the sprint, we can take out the mini, because, yeah, this is going to be a test.
Yeah, it's not a sprint series this week. It's not a mini endurance either, you could argue. But anyway, it is the midway point in our season. 3 rounds to go after this one at Imola in 2 weeks' time. Mugello, the one after that, and Fuji, the one after that. Of course, we race fortnightly in this series rather than weekly. So don't come back next week. Come back in 2 weeks' time for the next round of this series. So far, though, that means we've also had 3 rounds of the season. So let's have a quick chat about the championship standings and where we are, because qualifying's pretty much almost over. Out there already. So yeah, let's have a quick chat about the championship standings. Kaysen Collier is currently leading in GTP by 3 points ahead of Vegard Johansson, who won the first race of the season at Interlagos in such a dramatic style. Ian Knox is third over Andy Pratt and Stuart Brighton. Round out the top 5, Parker Renquist next. Demian Hayward and Reece Bartlett are tied for 7th in front of Stephen Laird and Jack Ashton, who is not here very often, but when he is here, is very quick indeed. Rounds out the top 10 in GTP. In GTE-PRO, Chad Henson's also leading by only 3 points in front of Jeff Manning. Luke Oxner is third. Gert-Jan Polman, Garrett Kinney rounding out the top 5. Philip Grussing and Brandon Smith tied for 6th in front of Thomas Weston, Corey Sertoff and Dave Van Dam. And in GTE-AM, a lot less points have been scored there, so across the board it is a bit closer. Sam Hager is still leading, though, and actually has the biggest margin between first and second. It's just the field spread further down is less. Justin Lanier second, ahead of Aaron Sanford, Ian Coates and Nicholas Marshall, rounding off the top 5. And then you have the rest of them a little bit further down. Pretty much everybody else who's been at races so far this season picking up the minor points from the season so far. As I say, this qualifying session is pretty much over. I'm not sure whether the 2 laps for qualifying rule has been scrapped for the mini enduro, but as far as the season rules are concerned, they're only supposed to have 2 laps for qualifying. Maybe they're just running out there again after their 2 laps for a bit more practice, but there's plenty of drivers out there on the racetrack, and so far it's Andy Pratt, who's just completed his 4th lap, by the way, this session, who is leading the way and looks like he's odds on to take pole here.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that's the thing for Andy Pratt. He's done a great job. 2:03.028 on the pole time at the moment as well. Best time there as well. I'd like to pick up that you put no Euros, I think, tonight. Too late for them. Well, that's not completely true. Viggo Johansson is from Norway. He's here. Tom Weston's from the UK. Dave Van Dam's from the Netherlands. Chad Henson is from... Well, he's got Romania, but I don't even think specifically...
he's American, isn't he?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Joshy Taylor's here from the UK, Nick Marshall as well. So we've got a few on that one. Believe me and Josh are the only Euros, says Cuddles. I'm not quite sure who Cuddles is, but whoever Cuddles is thinks he's the only ones here. But there isn't. There's more than just you two guys, I'd like to point out. So, yeah, there's quite a few latecomers. But it is Friday night, I suppose. You don't have to get up. Well, you don't have to get up for work. You don't really have to worry too much. It's Friday night. Have a late one. Treat yourself.
Yeah, some people don't have to get up for work, I suppose.
No, me, funny enough. I don't have to get up either tomorrow. Like to point it out.
No, for a change. So
I do. Unlike yourself, though, have you? Because you're still going after this, aren't you?
I'm going to carry on after this. I don't have to go up early though. My alarm's for midday tomorrow. So I do have an alarm, but it's not very early.
Do you know that's the thing, right? I get up for work very early every day. Like I'm generally about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I sneak out the house. So I'm like a ninja, right? My wife gets up tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow, and she gets out of the house and goes out of the house like a bull in a china shop, and generally wakes me up anyway. So I'm normally awake by 8 o'clock, even on my day off, because she gets up and just sort of crashes around the house like a lunatic, or puts on the airdryer or something, or anything random. So there we go. We've only got a few more drivers out on track. Andy Pratt is out there, Justin Lanier, Tim Wybrow, and Nick Marshall are out on track as well. What do we reckon on cars for the GTEs? Who's going to come out on top?
Well, once again, very mixed as far as qualifying is to be believed. I'm not sure if there's a real character. I think all of these GTs are going to be difficult to get through 2 hours and a half without crashing, to be honest, or spinning at the very least, even around here, because of the lack of assist compared to what you have in a GT3. I think the barrier for when those mistakes start to creep in is lower, and there you go. Nick Marshall, to be fair, qualifying can be excused because obviously you're pushing a bit harder than you would be in the race. But yeah, I don't know about any, because when we talk about GT3 racing, we used to speak about the Audi used to get away from people very early in a run and things like that. I think all these GTEs are fairly similar in ways of the ones that get away from you earliest. I just think this is going to be a big challenge for any of the manufacturers. We've got 4 represented here. We've got Ford, Porsche, Corvette and Ferrari. No BMWs here. But I don't think that particularly matters. I think all of the manufacturers are going to be difficult to get through 2 hours and a half without any sort of spin or crash.
Yeah, I reckon, I don't know. Do you know, because of the long straights and... Not that it has got corners, obviously it's Spa, but not horrendous corners. I don't know, I think Tom Weston in a Ford is looking good, but he has got 3 Corvettes up behind him with a Ferrari and another Corvette. Porsches, not so much. Their top end's normally a bit meh. Let's be real about it. They're a Porsche. Top end's a bit... I don't know if that's because it's underrepresented in iRacing and it doesn't make it very fast. Like the GT3, it whistles loudly, but it doesn't really go anywhere in a fast manner. So I do wonder if that's a little bit of an underrepresentation of the actual speed of the Porsche. But, you know, or generally it's just duff and it doesn't really go very fast in general. But I think the Ford will do well if it can keep going on that one. So, yeah, I think this is going to be an exciting one to sit back and watch. It's going to be interesting to see how the GCPs handle the traffic. Again, on the early section, up through the Source down to Lacombe, there isn't really much to worry about. You know, so, yeah, I'll be interested to see how they get on. But, yeah, I think this one could be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'll get to a couple of comments in a moment, but here comes the grid ready for this race. The formation lap will be underway in a minute. Andy Pratt takes the pole then in front of Kason Collier, who was faster in practice, but got some work to do in this race. Vegard Jansen is then third alongside Stephen Laird, with Sam Cougar and Parker Enquist then on row 3. Reece Bartlett and Damien Hayward round out the GTPs, making up the first 4 rows in this grid. The next rows are going to be taken up by GT cars. That is, who's taking pole there? Tom Weston, has taken the pole there in front of Dave Van Dam. That's the 2 pole sitters. So Weston's taken pole in the GTE-AM class, ahead of the pro driver of Dave Van Dam. Then it's the pro drivers of Brandon Smith, Chad Henson, Jeff Manning, Philip Grussing, all next in line. And then the next AM, Chris Slane, Chris Romano, then Olivo in 4th place in the AM class alongside Josh Taylor. It's first mixed row. Then Aaron Samford and Justin Lanier, Tim Wybrow and Garrett Kinney then outside the top 20 overall. Sam Hager and Nick Marshall at the back of the field. 24 in the field tonight, evenly spread actually through the 3 classes. But what a performance that is, by the way, from Tom Weston in an AM car. Yeah,
he's done exceptionally well. He's looking very quick in that Ford, and that's why I did say whether or not it's going to be a Ford run circuit. We're starting off, as you see, out by Lafanier on that one. So they've got about half a lap coming on. Who we got? Noxie's in the YouTube chat. Morning, gents. Why aren't you here, sir? Cuddles is Vigard, and I'm clearly off by a fair few. He said, "Well, you're in 3rd place, mate. It's not dramatic on that one."
No, on the thing he said earlier about him being the only European one.
Oh yes, Tom. yes, absolutely. And then what does that say? Connor Maxing. What does that mean?
Corner maxing. I don't know what that means, though, Robert Ridgway.
Yeah, what is that?
To educate 2 very old men.
Hold on a minute here, sunshine. 1 old man and 1 young whippersnapper who can't barely remember anything. Don't give it over to old men.
No, I've never known that in the first place. That's not something I've forgotten. That's just something I've never known.
Noxie's at the beach, apparently. What are you doing on the phone? What, are you watching us on the phone or something, Noxie? I'm sure your wife's dead happy about that. Yeah, just to let you know, wife, I'm going to sit here for 3 hours and watch a broadcast and just rotate myself like a pig on a spit roast and just carry on watching the broadcast. Oh, dearie me. Noxie, you are funny. I couldn't get away with that. My wife would batter me if I went to the beach with the family and just sat there watching a broadcast.
It's quite early in the morning in Australia, isn't it?
I have no idea. Well, I don't.
It's like 8 in the morning.
Daylight savings, mate, drives me bonkers. I can never get it right. I have to check about 6 times with Americans what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, we'll of course get to more of your comments later. It's going to be maybe a bit more relaxed broadcast a little bit later on. So we'll get to some of those. But it's going to be very loud at the beginning, that's for sure. Because, as always, these race starts very important. They're going to be very intense. And it's going to be Andy Pratt who's in control of the field. Kason Collier is going to have to slow down a little bit so that he doesn't cross the line before Pratt. Otherwise, he's going to get a penalty from iRacing. Now that he slows down, Pratt is... Well, it would have been smart if Pratt went at that moment. Mm-hmm. In fact, they might well be waiting for the run down to Eau Rouge. Sorry. This is the long... version of the pit lane that goes round the other side of the circuit. So, of course, he can't go yet. He's got to wait just for a few more moments here in towards La Source. He's got to wait a little bit further. There's the pace car trying to beat them round to the line. And there he goes. Pratt goes now, coming out of La Source. You get a very long time to decide. And out of turn 1 he goes, coming down the hill towards Eau Rouge, trying to look at the way he's strung this field out already. Collier next, and then Janssen. Then it is Stephen Laird who's next in line. The GTs are going to start in quite a few moments. They've given quite a big gap this time. Here comes Johansson. He is looking for the move on Kason Collier. Look at the speed of the BMW coming up the Kemmel Straight. He's on the inside line and he moves up to 2nd on this start.
Yeah, Vigard Johansson, great job there, moving into 2nd place at the moment. The GTEs just kicking off. Tom Weston bolting down the hill on that Ford with Dave Van Dam and the Corvette. Henson, Smith and Grussing tucked in right behind him as well. But another man that's caught his field napping, but not as much as the GTPs, to the point of where, unfortunately, Parker Enquist has had some drama already on the run up through El Rouge Radion, and he's going to go and kick it over the curb. Oh, Parker.
Oh, that is not the start to it. 2.5 hour race that you need. Parker Enquist has got a lot of damage. I don't know who he made the contact with, I've got to say, as he came over the hill there, but he's definitely got severe damage, and he is going to have to come into pit lane at the end of this lap. Josh Taylor, meantime, in the background, one of the pro drivers, drops to the back of the GTE field as he goes off through that chicane.
Yeah, he's sitting down there at the moment, isn't he, Joshy? Unfortunately, in through Lacombe, just got it all a little bit wrong. I think he's coming too hot, to be blatantly honest with you, and has overcooked it and either run wide or he's made contact. They are almost pushing 2-3 wide there. I think Taylor misses his braking points, hits the curb, and unfortunately round he goes. Not a good start for Parker Inquist or Josh Taylor. Timmy Wybrow or Jeff Manning, they're in gravel traps at the moment as well. They're at the beach with Noxie currently, are these two, and unfortunately they've both been off the side of the circuit, especially Manning, who's just spat up everywhere. But look at this here, look, Tom Weston in the GTE is right on the back of Parker Enquist near enough, and Enquist is struggling his way to get back into the pit lane.
Oh dear, he's got to pull off to the left here, and he does. Use that tarmac on the left-hand side through the curve pull flare, and he does, to stay out the way of the onrushing GTE pack. As say, 3 of them missing now. Taylor, Manning and Wybrow all with trouble on this opening lap of the race. But Tom Weston continues to lead in the GTE-AMs. He's got the protection as well of some pros in behind him, which is absolutely fantastic for him. Weston, by the way, is not one of those big... according to the points he's in the pros, in our thing in the AMs at the moment, there'll be some wondering about that at the moment, because he is leading this race by some margin in the AMs. We'll see whether he actually should be there or not, because I
will go by I'll go by the points. I'll put him into pros.
Okay.
I had him at AMs at the beginning, so I'm not quite sure when did he move.
I don't know. He might have moved at some point along the way, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, there you go. Obviously, you corrected it.
Would make more sense for him to be in the pros, to be honest, but maybe he
absolutely.
I don't really know. Anyway, Vegard Janssen has got in front of Collier at the beginning of this race, and running rather nicely in second position. But nobody can stay with Andy Pratt at the moment. He's already got a second over the field. Yeah,
they're going to be very, very spread out. I think the action's going to come down here. We've got Weston, Van Dam, Henson, Smith. Grussing's 2.2 back. Slane's just had, by the looks of it, some form of drama. Oh, very big drama. Unfortunately for Chris Slane going into Lacombe as well. So he's caused himself some problems. But I think this is where the main action's going to be here. What are these four going to do? It's a Ford chased down by Corvettes. And how's this going to work out for these guys?
By the way, Slane was the AM leader at the time of that spin, as far as I'm aware. So that is a change for the lead down there as Slane goes off, and Romano now is the leader of this race. See what happened. Slane was letting a pro through, I think, and then
back end's come round.
Gets it wrong over that curve through the second part. You do need to hook yourself on that curb a little bit, but you do need to be careful as well. And unfortunately, it goes for a spin. He drops down.
Oh, Pratt's crashed.
To 18th. Oh, wow, the race leader. This is a strange place to do it.
What did he do here? I've got him down as he's crashed. I don't think he's crashed. I think he's... Oh,
he's gone off, though.
Oh, he has, look. Oh, that's brought him in very, very close now.
Yeah, and live, Johansson is... Oh, he's side by side into the Lacombe chicane. He couldn't pass up an opportunity like that. Round the outside through the third part of the chicane, and he's through into first position. Pratt then drops into that second place with Cason Collier now alongside. He might well drop him further down here if he's not too careful, but he slots himself back into second at least. That's a costly error. And there wasn't really any pressure on him. An unforced error in towards turn one.
Poor old Andy Pratt there. He didn't really have anything to do there. He just had to keep it on the track. And unfortunately went into La Source, went in too deep, brought Vegard in behind him. Vegard got him on the run down through El Rouge Camel. And then it was Lacombe side by side. Vegard did go off the side of the circuit a little bit. We've got a meatball for Jeff Manning. We'll have a look back at that in a minute. I think that's where earlier on where he went off. But yeah, Andy Pratt making a big mistake. And there was nothing there either. He didn't have anything to cope with, anything to deal with. He just literally had to keep the car going forward, and he's just lost 1.2 seconds and chasing down the man from Norway now on that, unfortunately, is a big thing for Pratt. It was a self-inflicted mistake, unfortunately.
It was a little bit an unforced error from Andy Pratt in the lead of this race, and that lead did not last very long, only 2 laps. And at the end of lap 3, Vegard Janssen is going to lead the field to the start-finish line. There he goes. Yep, 1 lap led for Janssen, as he has led quite a few in this season so far. Didn't leave many on his way to a victory at Interlagos, don't forget, all those weeks ago. A great late victory from him on that occasion. This is Jeff Manning, who's dropped to second last here, and indeed last of the GTEs in the last few moments. through the final turn.
Oh!
No, there was already trouble. And
It was Lanya and Olivob. Olivob? Can't be right. Olivio.
Olivo,
that's the one as well.
Lanier must go around first then. Olivo as well. So that's separate spins, but happening at the same time. And
Watch Manning.
Olivo's, trying to get out the way, and here comes Manning. I mean, if Manning had stayed on the racing line there, he would have been fine. But I guess when you see people spun in front of you, it does change what you're going to do. And that is Pratt getting in front of Johansson. Collier can't take advantage. Stephen Laird has joined in now as well, but Andy Pratt's back to the lead.
Yeah, it's a four-car fight now. Laird's there, Collier, Johansson and Pratt. And as you say, Collier couldn't take advantage of the situation and now sits in behind him currently at the moment here. So Case of Collier has got a bit more work to do. Vegard Johansson chasing down Pratt, losing a little bit of time through that section, unfortunately. Now coming into Le Panier, these guys are at the moment, and Pratt leading by 0.6 of a second. Not a massive lead, don't get me wrong, but he's 7-8 tenths at the moment, so he's pulling out a couple of tenths pretty much most corners, unfortunately, for the guys behind. So Andy Pratt could and should effectively bolt it away now and get out in front.
Well, he already did that once, and then he undid his hard work by making that error in towards turn one. I'm still going to call it turn one, by the way. I know we didn't receive the green flag before La Source, but that's going to be a hard habit to get out of. So we'll call it turn one. I think they're still receiving the timing line on that straight, though, aren't they? Yeah, they are, just before La Source. So on this pit straight is where the timing is, but you received the green flag down towards Eau Rouge in this layout, which is a little bit unusual. But anyway, I suppose it alleviates some of the problems down into this corner on lap number one. But I noticed that Weston, actually, when he was launching the green flag for the GTEs, he seemed to be going on the Grand Prix pits and not down this straight here. Unless the field was spread apart very, very quickly, he seemed to go a little bit early in the GTE field there.
Yeah, I think unless there was some confusion about who should be where and when and what and how, and you know what it's like, it happens, doesn't it? Some people go early, some people don't go early. You know, these guys, look at this strike, look, 191 mile an hour down into 100 and, barely below 100 miles an hour. Oh, Johansson, Vigard there, and a big old snap in that car in front, and that BMW manages to hold on to it. Now coming into Rivage, is he going to be able to make it through without any dramas? Vigard at the moment really, really pushing that machine.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I feel like it was a similar sort of slide that lost him that lead, or confirmed that he was losing the lead and losing time to Andy Pratt out front. There is a look back from the BMW, Kason Collier, and then Stephen Laird in fourth position. Collier currently the championship leader in front of Johansson. This is first versus second in the points, fighting with one another. Andy Pratt's fourth, and with Ian Knox not here, you'd imagine he will slip through into third place very easily here, Pratt. And so the top three in the points, you could argue, are top three right here in this race as well. But Pratt seems to have the measure over these two, who are scrapping alone for second.
Yeah, he does at the moment. He's pulled out 1.9 seconds now. Again, as long as he's not a master of his own downfall once more, he's going to should be out and away there. But look at the GTE lead. Weston, Van Dam, Henson and Smith all still scrapping away further back here. I'm just going to let this play out for see what Kaysen can do up through El Rouge and Radion, if he can stay close enough there. Whether or not that Porsche has got a little bit of, if he's got the grunt to be able to stay with the BMW. That's Lanya facing the wall, if I'm not mistaken. I think
Is it?
Olivo, sorry, facing the wall at the moment. So he's obviously made a little bit more drama.
Yeah, might have been another solo spin, but we're getting in towards traffic now anyway, so wouldn't be surprised to see some of those interactions between faster and slower traffic now. As Janssen goes over the top of the hill here. Has he got a good enough run on Collier? He's certainly got the momentum here as the American in the slipstream in that Porsche, looking for a move to the outside. Goes early. Is he trying to trick him to giving him the inside line? No, he really was going for the outside there. And in the end doesn't really attempt to see the move through. There's a lot of gravel kicked up on the racetrack there, by the way. The racing line will be cleared very quickly there, but it will make it treacherous through Le Comte as Johansson continues to defend, and they continue to lose time out front to the leaders. This is Demian Haywood, who is already down in 7th in the GTPs, and he tries to break on the grass coming into the chicane.
Yeah, but round the corner, Has he moved? He might manage to, might have been, oh, he did get it out of the way. It was the Porsche of Olivo there was stuck on the side of the corner there. Case and Collier side by side at the moment. Into Lafagna there to go. Vegard's going to have the better line. He should be able to pull it back, get it out. Kaysen's going to look for the acceleration on the exit. Can't quite get it done. Vegard managing to hold on at the moment. But for how much longer? Only time will tell. Vegard will be best through the traffic, says Noxie.
Well, we'll see. By the way, I was right. It is 8 a.m. where.
Yeah, but this is the thing. He ain't at the beach yet. Who goes to the beach? Who goes to the beach at 8 a.m.?
Well, yeah, I know.
And he even said the wife's still asleep.
I know. So have they been sleeping on the beach, or what's been going on there?
I don't know. I think it's all full. I think unless he's got a pitched up a tent on Bondi or something like that.
Which beach are you on? I can't imagine they allow allow camping.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just making excuses not to be here. Because he could have raced and finished and come and had a chat with us and still gone to the beach about 10:30 when the sun's up. You ain't going to go out there when it's cold, are you? Because he even says in YouTube chat it's cold.
Well, he says it's cold, but I was having a chat to an Australian earlier this week who said it's getting really cold at the moment. It's 13 degrees at night. I said, what are you talking about if that's cold? Anyway.
That's hot over it during the day.
Anyway, here comes Collier again. We'll get back to beaches in a moment. He gets to the outside line at Lecombe, and surely, well, he's committed to it this time. Inside for the second part. There was never enough room for them. They make contact. Johansson gathers it up again. Not the first time he's been sideways through that section of corners. It's costing them so much time. Johansson, though, clearly believes this is an investment worth making, keeping Case and Collier behind for just a few more moments.
You know, I'm trying to work out something here as well. Pit stops. It's going to be 2, isn't it? It's got to be 2.
At least.
At least, yeah. Let me check what the fuel level they're on. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least 2 stops that these guys are going to have to make here. Because
I'd maybe even say 3 for the GTPs if they've got the full amount of fuel. If they haven't got less than that, then even more.
No, they have. They're running full fuel, but it's 40 minutes, isn't it? 40, 80, 120. So that's 2 hours. Yeah, maybe. Maybe 3.
No, yeah.
40, 80, 120 is 2 hours. They're going to have to stop 3 times.
Well, I think they can go a bit further than 40 minutes, but can they get far enough to make it 2 stops, not 3, is the question. To do some maths on that. I don't know what 2.5 hours divided by 4 is.
I don't know.
Divided by 3 is even.
I don't know. He's on, apparently he's on Lily Pilly. That can't be
very
real.
Australian.
That can't be real.
Pilly.
It
can be.
Who come up with that? Come on.
Probably us, to be honest, the British.
That's ridiculous. Who calls a beach Lily Pilly? Like, you know what I mean? That's like saying oopsie daisy. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It just sounds similar, doesn't it? Van Dam, by the way, Dave Van Dam got the lead of GTE-PRO a few minutes ago. He's now in front of Weston. Henson and Smith are also still involved in this group.
That happened down into Lacombe.
Yeah, was it an exchange of positions that was sort of planned and all fine with Weston, or did he have to fight for this, Dave Van Dam? 2 of the Europeans. No, they're exchanging places at the front of here. Suggests a bit of fuel saving, but these guys are going to have to make 2 stops as well.
Yeah, I think they are as well. On that one, so great action still taking place in the GTEs. Case of Collier still behind Vegard Johansson. I love Noxie's comment. He likes to stay married, apparently. Yeah, where most people will go, no, Noxie, well, I'm happy just to not be married. You're there going, yeah, I want to be married. So, you know what I mean?
We named it all, apparently. We named all the bit. I told you we would have named it.
That is ridiculous. Who? It's not very British, is it? What does it even mean?
I think it's very. Did you see the last time we were allowed to name something on that boat?
Yeah, they called it boat face or something, didn't they? Or something?
I know. So, you know, if we're, you know, apples don't fall far from trees, and if that's what we're going to do to a boat in the modern day, then imagine what we were like back in the day.
What was it? Boaty
McBoatface.
Boaty McBoatface or something?
Yeah.
The name appears reports from the 1860s regarding the estate of a local pioneer and landowner, Thomas Holt, apparently.
There you go. So he was having a laugh.
Specifically, the area point in Port Hacking, New South Wales, was named for the native myrtle plants, commonly known as lily pilly. So your name is named after a plant, apparently.
Yeah, it's not made up.
No, it's just ridiculous. Stupid people. Do you know what? Who looks at a plant and goes, "I've got to call it Lily Pilly"?
I don't know about the plants. They do seem to have some ridiculous names.
Oh no, it's like Americans calling things chips and they're crisps.
Yeah,
you know
crisps. What I mean? Yeah, I know. Well, we're going to start a whole different argument there. There's more Americans, I'd imagine, than Australians.
Well, it's not the point. You know what I mean? If you want a full-blown argument, we've got to keep us awake for 2.5 hours. Come on. We've got to go for it.
That's true. There's a lot of time to discuss these things. Here comes Henson, by the way, on Western. And there's another amicable change of position. So Brandon Smith has lost touch with this group now. But they're still just exchanging places to sort of share out the fuel saving, it seems, at the moment, really. Yeah,
what's going on with Sam Hagar and Garrett Kinney? They've just swapped places a few times, but they were on the run down through El Rouge Madion. I do like Sam Hagar's livery. It just looks very stylish on that Ford. Yeah, it looks beautiful as the leaders come through the traffic there. Vegard Johansson's cleared a lot of area of Kaysen Collier. Kaysen clearly getting caught up in traffic in wrong places there. Unfortunately for him, he's dropped back. As kind of the GTP field spread out a little bit. It's going to be how Weston and Henson and Van Dam handle the traffic coming through. No, boys, they're chips. They're not chips, they're called crisps.
I didn't realise the Australians were wrong as well.
Oh, no.
About this specifically.
Chips are what you eat with burgers.
Put in the oven.
Yeah, put in the oven on an air fryer or however posh you want to be. Or if you're really, really poor and you really want to try the McCain microwave chips. But, you know, hey, listen, who are we to argue about that? You do whatever you like, Noxie, at this time in the morning.
I didn't know they were a thing. But
yeah, you can get McCain microwave chips. They're no. You know what I mean? Just no.
Fair enough.
They don't taste nice. I'd rather just chuck them in the air fryer for 15 minutes. Jobs at the good one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What? I don't quite understand. There's hot chips. I don't know. And he's insulting us at the same time, so I'm not really sure.
I know it's always like it's almost like a passive insult, isn't it? There's chips which you poms call crisps, and then there's hot chips which you poms all call chips. Well, no,
what's hot chips?
Yeah,
what are hot chips?
I think he means like our normal chips, like French fries and fat chips and curly fries and stuff like that we call chips. And then we got crisps, but they're not chips. So yeah. More proof you lads are wrong. Oh, Noxie, give over. I'm British, mate. I'm never wrong. Not about anything. This is
what a thing to say.
The only thing I'm wrong about is the fact that we like standing in queues forever and just thinking it's normal. Noxie, that's about it. I swear, I'd love to time how long I stand in a queue for in 1 week. I'd rack up about 24 hours or something ridiculous like that. Anyway, back to what's going on the screen. Chris Lane is going to have a good old go at Aaron Sanford, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And this, of course, is part of his recovery from the spin earlier that took him out the race lead. Here comes Chris Lane on the outside line of Sanford, and he's going to block one of those GTPs coming through. Sanford is going to let him go, really, sticking to the inside on the way towards Lecombe. And Chris Lane moves up to third in the AM class. Back to the podium again. Yeah, he'll be wondering where he could have been without that spin, because Hager's taken that lead, and he's run with it now. Romano's only a couple of seconds behind, but the gap back to Slane then, behind Romano, is then, as you can see there, 10 seconds out. It's 12 to Hager, so that's a lot of time to recover.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a bit of a push. Do you know the interesting thing for me? I think we just witnessed a miracle. The Porsche actually out-dragged the car down a straight. So fair play there. The Porsche managed to out-drag that Corvette, but then again, as you say, it was very amicable on that one. Lanier is having a battle with Enquist, but I don't really think that's going to be much of a battle, because there goes Parker now. Chad Henson is in front of Dave Van Dam. Van Dam trying to push him all the way down through Blanchimont. And they're, free wide with Kaysen. No, maybe not.
Oh, and he's been hit now. Dave Van Dam hits Collier, who's going to slide back from third position at least to fourth here. Collier, as he was slowing to get through the second part of the chicane here, he went very wide. Maybe not the wisest thing to do, but all fine until this point. The GTs on that sort of line are faster than a GTP. And in the end, Van Dam gets into the back of Collier. He might be the one who gets a penalty for that, Van Dam, because he did hit the back of the Porsche. But it takes our championship leader from a podium position and it drops him down to 4th place, and he's some distance off of Andy Pratt now.
Oh, dude, he shouldn't have gone for that. That is just an inexperience. That he should have had patience. He should have just sat behind and waited to come out the other side. Live to fight another day. Don't try and do something like that. Joshy Taylor's had more drama as well. And this is the problem here. He's had plenty of time to just sit and wait. He didn't need to be there. You know, let them battle it out. Let them make contact, and then he could have got through. But, yeah, I think that's inexperience. And, yes, slow-moving GTP in front of a GTE, and Dave Van Dam, well, hit the throttle and unfortunately found the rear end, the case of Collier. But yeah, I think that was a little bit of an inexperience.
Yeah, maybe. Oh,
Whoa.
Goodness. Oh, that camera angle there made it look like Tom Weston was going to have the biggest crash ever. In the end, he thankfully covered it up. Dear God.
I thought he was going to go and punt it off into the underworld then
I
at one
thought
point.
he was going to die there. Yeah. Anyway,
he's going to die.
Yeah. He's only dropped to 4th, thankfully. He has lost the group with Henson and Van Dam, though. But maybe you're right. I think it's so easy to get overcome by all of what was going on around him there, though, because Collier was losing time to Johansson. We saw that actually going on from quite some time ago. But also what was starting to happen as well was that Laird was getting closer to him. And basically Collier came to this part of the racetrack needing to try to overtake 4 GTEs in one go.
He's trying to do the same again.
And well, this time they're at least only 2 wide, and that's how it's meant to be done. On the outside, there you go. He's on the inside now for the second part.
He's going to get here. Oh,
it's close.
Jesus.
You've got to have that trust in those guys behind. And, I mean, fair play to him for going on and doing exactly the same thing again, the same lap after he was hit, because, you know, the actual moment where he got spun wasn't his fault. It's completely the trust in those behind you at that stage. And he trusted in them for a second time, and it paid off for him this time. But yeah, unfortunately, the damage is done. He's lost an awful lot of time.
Yeah, lucky boy, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, he's lucky on that second one. But, yeah, to repeat the same thing twice is brave. But he does it a third time, I would say borderline insane. But this Dave Van Dam is just going to give Henson a bit of a push down through El Rouge and rally on in the back there. You can see Smith's caught back up as well. These guys having this little bit of a ding-dong has brought Smith back into the affray. And now we've got 3 Corvettes at the front. And unfortunately, the Ford of Tom Weston further back. So, yeah, great fighting with these 3 Corvettes. We've also got Sam Cougar is there at the same time with Reese Bartlett. He's having a bit of a ding-dong. Garrett Kinney and Sam Hager. Of course, Hager leading the AMs. GTE-AMs there in the Ford by 3.6 seconds over his nearest rival. Hay was just past Cougar at the moment. So, yeah, lots still happening at this current time.
Yeah, there certainly is. Glad that this GTE-PRO battle is going to continue to entertain us throughout the night, because it's a long race indeed. So it looks like this battle is going to go on for some time and be quite entertaining, because time and again we've seen 2 of them get away, 3 of them get away from another one or whatever, and it all seems to keep coming back together, rather. Henson now leading Van Dam, then Smith, then Weston, who's at the back of the group. And Weston, to me, seems like the one who's been doing the most fuel saving, actually, out of the 4 of them. But we'll see how that's going when we get to the pit stops. And now, actually, he's going to make an overtake. He won't want to let the other 2 get away. And as I say, they keep coming back again. So shouldn't be too concerned if he can't get this pass done. But he does. And now he's into 3rd place. Here comes Van Dam on, or Henson on Van Dam, rather, in towards the final chicane. And, yep, the group will be connected again as the top 2 begin to just fight each other a little bit there.
Yeah, looking at the time, we're going to end up in the dark here. I think we're going to end up in the dark.
What time is it currently?
Oh, it's not on there. What have you got?
Yeah,
You got it on a live timing, haven't you? Live timing link at the top.
I haven't got it on there, no.
Sure, it's going to be night time. The lights are on already.
Can you not see the time of day either?
No, I can't for some reason.
I don't know why it's not on that weather thing. But
No, it's disappeared, isn't it? It's clear, dry, but it doesn't give me what time of day it is, which is very, very bizarre.
Because it's quite, well, I don't know if other people can do this better than me, but I find it quite hard to tell when I don't know the time. Obviously, this doesn't happen very often in my real life. I mean, in sim. Can't tell whether it's sunrise or sunset. Not normally I can tell if it's real life, obviously, but
No, I
it's kind
think
of
it's.
obvious,
I think it's going to be dark. I think they started off quite bright. This is Sam Cougar, unfortunately, having dramas there. That's the GTE alongside him. That's never ever good. Oh, Sam, your corners there, mate. Just completely missed that one. I do like his livery. What's on his rear tail? Can't really see what that is, but it does look very nice, that livery. It was Sam Cougar. GTEs, Van Dam, Henson, Weston, Smith providing us all the action. Chris Lane is still there again with Parker Enquist. And Enquist does make his way forward. He's, of course, Enquist has got a bit of a mission. He's got to pass all the GTEs, unfortunately for him. Due to an earlier drama where, well, actually, lap one drama, where he went and hit the wall. So poor old Parker Enquist's got some work to do. But overall, I think it's been a good race so far.
Yeah, it has been an entertaining one so far. The battle we keep returning to and is continually entertaining is the one for the lead in GTE-PRO.
Oh, Cougars. I don't know if Cougars got a problem here. That's Lacombe.
No, it's not.
It's coming out of Marmaduke, isn't it?
And...
Oh, is he? No, it's Campos Stavolo, isn't it?
No, yeah, this is Stavolo, and he's just gone straight on there. Oh, that was really weird. Wasn't it? Didn't even look like he broke too late that time, like he did for the bus stop.
No, it just didn't look like he got the car rotated, which was very, very bizarre indeed, unfortunately for him. But David Dam still battling out with Henson and Weston, not too far behind. I'm going to be interested to see what Weston's car looks like, because I am presuming it's dark, right? Because they've been going for nearly 25, 30 minutes already, and it's just got darker and darker. Now, last time Weston had a real cool, I think it was either Weston or Hagar in the Ford, had a purple glow underneath the rear left quarter panel and the rear right quarter panel, and it looked absolutely incredible. So I'll be interested to see what sort of light show that we get this time.
Yeah, we will find out. I think you're probably right. This is going to go into the darkness. Might even have more than half the race, to be honest, take place in darkness, because we're nowhere near half distance yet, and it's getting rather low in the sky, the sun. So let's see. But half an hour gone. These guys have been inseparable so far, really. Dave Van Dam just coming up to 1 in the morning, by the way, where he is, as long as he's still in the Netherlands. So hats off for him for racing so late, but he's keeping Henson behind, and Weston as well. And as I say, they've not been able to really be separated in this first part of the race, and it's going to take pit stops at least to do that. Those pit stops coming in probably half an hour's time or more for these GTEs, certainly more for those who've been fuel saving a little bit, and I think Tom Weston has been doing the best at fuel saving so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see him going a bit longer than the others. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he might be able to go a lap or so longer. Kinney and Enquist, obviously Enquist in the GTP, should be able to make that one job done, and through he goes on board with Weston now. Ford gruffing in our aero, and already the lights are starting to come on Weston's car. That middle strip is actually lit up, which is quite bizarre considering we're off-board camera, but yeah, doing a great job so far.
Can you add the light strips to these? Yeah, it does
there you go,
odd, doesn't it, from certain angles?
It lights up, doesn't it?
Well, it's lit up all the time. We can only see it sometimes. But, well, I think so anyway. I mean, but I was going to say, we get the light up strips for the... Oh, a spin! Spin from Henson, and he's been hit! He's been hit by, I think, the Acura coming through there of Hayward, Damien Hayward. Or was it Smith coming on the scene and hitting him there? I think it was Hayward, though, in the Acura. I mean, this is just a solo spin through turn one, it looks like. Oh, just loses the rear end. Oh no, he sets off. And Hayward had nowhere to go.
Hayward would have made it through if he just stayed still. Well, that's kind of put all the battles now where nobody is really close enough currently at this moment in time. So, yeah.
You have to talk about Ian knocks about beaches again or something.
Yeah, I know. But, I still got to get over that lily-pilly.
I absolutely can't believe that.
Why? Why can you believe it? It's a ridiculous thing.
I just can. And actually, Hanson's not quite... I wonder whether he's got some quite severe damage because of this contact here. I mean, as you say, he did get rolling as Hayward was on the scene there, and you'd say that is his fault. But I think he's got severe suspension. I mean, you can see it already. We haven't seen him on a straight yet. And there you go. He's turning fairly significantly left, and there's a slight right bend in the road here. So, yeah, there you go. That is severe suspension damage, and we're not far away, actually, from him being able to make it on one more stop after this one. So, don't be surprised if he comes in for an early one, but this doesn't ruin his race completely.
No, not yet. He should be all right, but he can keep it going in the right direction now as he's got GTPs coming through. There goes Hager. Big puff of smoke there. Oh,
He was off there.
I think that was Joshy Taylor.
Oh, that's somewhere else. He's gone off.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've definitely heard this tyre squeal and the...
Hayward
dust
jumps
and the-
back to pit lane.
Oh, yeah, this is the right kind of area. Hayward might be damaged as well because of this. Don't forget, he was the one who came through and hit Henson. So, oh, yeah, Hayward can't even make the turn here. And, yeah, bang. That's even worse damage.
Do you see the back there who's just turning directly right and the car's just going, nah. Well, look at this. He's just looking.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The suspension damage. Goodness me. How did he get this far?
I don't know.
I'm amazed he got that far in the racetrack. It's a clockwise circuit. Can't turn right on a clockwise circuit. That's almost impossible. Chad Henson, though, just come in. And that's a real shame. And, you know, Hayward has a real right to be disappointed about that as well because, you know, it wasn't his fault, was it, really? He was doing the right thing, unfortunately. Henson didn't stay where he was when two people were coming up, and that was what caused it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Parker Enquist is overtaking for position. You see down in bottom left there, Henson in pit lane. He's just cleared Western. That puts Enquist into 8th place. Now as well, he's got a minute 58 to go to catch Sam Cougar. So he's got a long old way. But yeah, currently at the moment, it's all starting to get a little bit settled down as the sun drops lower and lower.
Indeed. It's going to be in the night time soon. As Weston tries to use Enquist here to get back into the slipstream of Van Dam and start to fuel save again in a way that I think he has been doing for pretty much this entire race. Now that move through Pouon, it's just about going to bring it to a second. So Weston might have to park the fuel saving if he has been doing any just for a moment. Just invest a little bit of fuel, a little bit of speed into these couple of moments so that he can catch up to Van Dam, get into the slipstream of that Corvette, and then begin to do the saving again.
Absolutely. He's got a lot to try and get hold of, Weston, though, isn't he? He's got to try and clear a second gap, and that's not always easy, especially if Van Dam just drives normal and keeps it on the racetrack and hits with apexes and everything else. You know, he's for poor old Weston, it's going to be a bit of a mission. But for Garrett Kinney, he's still chasing down the same Hagar. Hagar leading the AMs, of course, in the GTE class. So he's still leading the AMs, 5.6 seconds ahead of Romano. So Hagar at the moment, just got to keep it on the racetrack, I believe.
I think so. Well, that's going to be a task for the next 2 hours. It's a very long race here tonight, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Mini endurance, as it's called. Is that trouble or no? Henson does slip behind Jeff Manning there as he rejoins. So they've both made one stop, the both of them, and now they come out nose to tail as well. There's Hager looking behind. Is that one of the? Is that Garrett Kinney?
Garrett Kinney, yeah, behind him.
Right. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Kinney's
getting
tucked
confused
in.
between class orders and overall orders, but yeah, Hager has got a decent advantage now, and that is extending as well, isn't it, really? Romano, I think last time we checked him, was just under 2 seconds behind, and that was not long after Slane had his problem. It makes you wonder why Slane, or why rather Hager wasn't in the lead in the first place, but anyway, maybe qualifying didn't go quite so well for him. In any case, he's leading now, and by some margin, as you say, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Van Dam and Weston. They're coming back closer together. Sanford and Slane, you can just see, just broke the half-second mark. Hager and Kinney. And we've got Olivo and Manning. About nearly a second away from each other at this moment in time. So, yeah, still progressing, still battles going on. And we've just broken 2 hours.
Down, below 2 hours to go.
What do you reckon? Do you think this is too long? I'm just saying, I'm pointing out. Do you think this is too long?
We've not even gone the normal race distance yet, so I'm not really willing to comment. We're not in uncharted territory yet, if you see what I mean.
That's a cop out. You just sat on the fence and got splinters in your bum. Yes, it is. I'm asking
It's
you.
not. I'm waiting for waiting for more information, and then I'll make my decision.
I think, right, personally, I think for a mini endurance, they could have made it like 1.5 hours. That would have been fine. I think 2.5 is a little bit excessive, especially not allowing driver swaps either. And I just think that 1.5 hours would have probably made it. You know what I mean? Topped it off. It would have been the icing on the cake or the candle with the flame, or anything like that.
Lights. We do get lights. It turns out.
Yeah, they're on a Ford, aren't they? That's Hagar's. Yeah, look.
Is it only on the Ford? Look at that. That is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks amazing, doesn't it?
Wow, that was I'd really dislike the Ford actually, but that's the one thing I do like about it.
You're only allowed to drive it at night.
Well, yeah. I would like that. It's only allowed to come out at night, but it looks good in the night.
I agree. It looks amazing. I mean, that's some quality, especially how it goes down through the side pods and then reflects off the wing a little bit as well. It looks awesome. But these two still continuing to fight there as well. JP, stop your pommy whining or whinging. I wouldn't even mind, but he couldn't even decide which one he's going to put there because he didn't spell either of them correctly. You know what I mean? Come on, Noxie. I don't think that's how you spell whinging. I'm sure there's no E.
Isn't it? Oh, there's no E there. But anyway, never mind. Doesn't I wasn't going to.
I'm not whinging as Kinney just goes and clears Hagar. I'm not whinging. I'm just saying if you're going to go into a mini endurance, like 1.5 hours is the mini endurance. Any longer, and you're getting into sort of a bit more of an endurance series, aren't you? And I would have liked to go for a mini. 2.5 hours is good practice for the next 24 next week. Yeah, maybe. I'm not had my invite from anybody to drive. Yeah, apparently.
Oh, at the N24. Sorry, I thought it was this. I thought it was the Spa 24. I thought the year was slipping away from me quicker than it is. Okay.
N24.
Yeah, N24.
But it's a completely different circuit. Why would you practice Spa to go?
Well, you're practicing long distance driving, long stints, and so that's the transferable skill, I suppose. As I said at the beginning, I don't think I'd describe it as a mini endurance, but I don't see a problem with a 2.5 hour race. I think it is so unique in terms of leagues because nowadays you have not even that many endurance leagues doing 3 hours. You've got proper long endurance leagues doing 4 hours plus with 2 drivers or more, or you've got sprint series like a little bit more like what we're doing here, where the whole event is done in an hour and a half, qualifying and race included, or multiple races. This is so unique. You don't see one driver having to do 2.5 hours very often at all anymore, and really harks back to the early days of endurance racing in iRacing more than 10 years ago. Before there were driver swaps, the endurance races were 3 hours long, and that was a proper endurance for one driver. I would argue that it still is, but you don't see those length of racing anymore. You see them go ultra long, 4 hours plus, or like what we do normally. So I don't mind the uniqueness of this format, if you like, for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I understand. I get what you're saying. I just think it's, I don't know, a bit long. Is it really? I know
Tiger again on Kitty. They're fighting here, even though they're not in the same class. I think Kinney wants him to stay behind because he's squeezing him there. Oh, and 3 wide as Andy Pratt tries to come past them both at the same time. The race leader taking some calculated risks at the moment. And I suppose that's why he's leading by 8.5 seconds. Andy Pratt, he's working his way through this traffic very efficiently.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's managed to catch them all in the right time at the moment, is Andy Pratt. So that's always good for him. No hold-ups or anything like that. So, yeah, Pratt gets through without any problems. Van Dam Weston. Weston's got the same purple glow, look, from the Ford. This does look nice.
Not quite as pronounced yet. It's not dark enough.
No, absolutely. You know what I mean? It says Ewan sticks another chocolate in his mouth. I don't know if everybody heard that. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
I heard it. What are you eating anyway? Is anything good?
Just Pringles at the moment.
Oh, okay. It's very dry. I'm surprised you can talk and eat at the same time with Pringles.
No, I'm fine. I've got my voice is very used to talking and eating at the same time.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's quite a disgusting thing to say, actually, isn't it? You shouldn't do that. But.
No, there you go. Apparently, according to Noxie, it's about keeping concentration for long stints and learning how to manage traffic. Oh, yeah. Why don't you just put a spin on everything? You know what I mean? Jesus.
You can't just say that every time he comes up with something to say back to you.
I can. It's Noxie. I can say what I like. Put a spin on it, Noxie. Make it sound better than it is. No, I get it. I get why they've done it, and I understand why they've done it. I just think 1.5 hours would have been sufficient.
You're just tired.
That is also true. But then again, my butt did get up at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm not really surprised I'm tired, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You say about earlier on, did you take a nap? No. My house is chaos. And no time to take a nap.
I don't have children, and you don't have that problem. But there you go. Too late for that.
You know, let's be real. You know, I can't really help it now, can I?
No, I know.
No, I mean, can't put them back in.
That ship has sailed quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Western Indy just sticking behind Van Dam here. Kason Collier came in, by the way, in a couple of moments ago there.
Yeah, he's in.
35 seconds in the lane. So I would say that's a little bit short of what these GTPs can actually do. However, it's not that far away. You said 40 minutes earlier. I thought you were underestimating the GTPs. Turned out you weren't, really. They can't go very long. And,
no, 40 minutes.
They'll definitely be making 3 pit stops today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what happened to Chad Henson, by the way, as well, Noxie. I think he peels into pit lane, so that's why he dropped down the order. Can't help it if you're wrong, mate. Dude, I told you, I'm British, I'm never wrong. Jesus, get that in your head. I don't know.
Say that to an Australian.
I know, they're all... I can hear an Australian say, like, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Did you name something lily-pilly? Give over.
It was us.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, stupid. It can't have been an Englishman. Surely back then they were too posh.
That might have been a very posh thing to say.
Oh, Lily Billy. Why you're there over Daddy's whiskey? Give over. That's a ridiculous thing.
Anyway, yeah.
Back to racing. Anyway, there's racing going on. There's racing going
on. Western fuel saving again. So these two are just going to run the way they are. Might be three wide for Oliver, Henson and Slane, or are they just running very close nose to tail for 19th overall at the moment? I'm not entirely sure, but Henson we've just seen come in make that pit stop. Slane has also come in 2 laps later than he did, and they are almost on top of each other. Oh, that's so close. Slane there very nearly turning Chad Henson. That would have been so risky at that sort of speed. Here comes Henson. He's got nowhere to go, and he's trying to box his way out of the situation. Oliver on the outside, a little bit of front left damage on that Porsche at the moment, actually. As Slane tries to come through, the former AM race leader does get through. The Pro driver not able to, because he was boxed in there behind Oliver in the Porsche, and at the other Porsche, Chris Slane on his inside. Here he comes now in towards Bruxelles, trying to get through, and surely he will get through without too much resistance. There we go. He moves up to 20th, but goodness me, that was that was on a couple of occasions very close to a very big crash.
It would have been a whole heap of drama. Now, how's Kaysen going to handle this as well? He's coming in the background. There you go, clears Olivo. Is he going to get Henson? He should get Henson going into Lafayette. He does get Henson, and he should be able to clear as well. Chris Slane, whether or not he's going to wait through Campos Stavolo, or he's going to try and get him beforehand. And Kaysen says, nope, not going to wait. I'm going to try and get him before. I'm going to dive up the inside, and through he goes in the Stablo and on through Paul Ferrer, through down to Francorchamps. So, yeah.
Oh, here comes Henson again, though. On Slane. He got a better run there because of the traffic coming through. And he's on the inside in time for Blanchimont. Is Slane going to try and hold out? Oh, he is! Spectacular stuff, and they make contact now! Oh, how have they kept it on the road? Slane and Henson had to slam on the brakes there before they both ended up in the wall. But somehow, Slane keeps the position by going around the outside through Blanchimont, and he's still in front of Chad Henson.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how he managed to do that. Olivo's in the background as well, just sitting back watching these guys going, yeah, I'm not getting involved in that. But Henson and Slane are throwing literally everything, bar the kitchen sink at each other. Olivo's going to have a go. Is he going to run down the hill? Nope, I thought he was going to try it there. But this battle, I don't think, is far from done. But they need to be very, very careful indeed.
Well, they certainly do. Olivo was briefly side by side there with Slane out of the La Source corner, but he is rightly staying out the way. Here they come in towards Lecombe. Is Henson far enough ahead? Oh, he's lifting off! He thought he was far enough ahead. Here comes Chris Lane again. He's on the outside and he's now going to go off. Chris Lane goes off, and those two have both made a pit stop, by the way. They're on the same strategy. They're fighting for overall places. Finally, that bit of contact now surely seals it for Henson.
Yeah, it's got to. Here it is on the screen now. Coming down into Lacombe. Lane, I'm not quite sure if he's got a little bit overzealous there. And unfortunately does go and sends it off the side of the circuit. A little bit excited.
Quite an exciting battle.
He's just still shoving the next Pringle in his mouth.
Hey,
well, stop it. We can hear it.
He can't.
What do you mean he can't? Chris Lane can't.
He can't. Yeah, well, yeah, he can't. I mean, nobody can. Andy Pratt's, by the way, in from the pit lane. He's into the pit lane, rather. After just over 45 minutes. How much further will they have to go then to make this a two-stop race? 50 minutes, isn't it? 50 minutes exactly. So if Johansson can go, he obviously can go this lap. Can he go one more, or is he going to have to come in? Same goes for Laird, because they're the only two who've stayed in front of Pratt after he's made his stop. Reece Bartlett's so far behind that Andy Pratt's still in front of him anyway. But this is quite a big moment for this race. Johansson could be on a completely different strategy that could well get him towards a race victory. But no, he's got to come in. And if you're lap short, it's quite hard to save the 7 kilometres of fuel that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. We're asking them to do a massive job, aren't we? Saving a whole 7 kilometres of fuel. Stephen Laird's going to peel in at the same time. Cougar's in pit lane as well. Hagar still having a bit of a ding-dong with Kinney. They've been fighting all the way through, these guys. They have not let each other go at all. Not even battle for inter-class. This is different classes. So Hagar clears Kinney again. Oh, and the Ford gets a slide on.
Big slide. Kinney had to get out of that so that he didn't run him over. Thankfully, they get away with it. Now, the reason I was mentioning so much the potential for them to go a lap further, by the way, those two, is because the pit lane's so long here. We haven't mentioned it yet. Oh, so Hager goes wide again. Kinney will get that for free almost this time. But we're using both pit lanes here. So you enter in the Grand Prix circuit pit lanes and you exit. There you can see them. They've only just come to a stop a few moments ago. They exit out here at Eau Rouge. The run through the pit lane is so long that, it might be a bit more viable to fuel save and maybe save a pit stop, but that's not happening clearly. Here comes Sam Hager on the inside, trying to regain that place from Kinney again. He's on a very narrow line, and Kinney's keeping him there. He'll pull out right to the racing line at the end there, but Hager's still got himself in front, and he's got himself clear. He's the AM leader, but being forced to fight amongst some pros at the moment.
Yeah, currently having a good old go, though, isn't he, Sam Hager? Doing a great job. Enquist is now peeled off into pit lane again. Bartlett's in pit lane. Obviously, Laird's still in pit lane.
Ooh, Hanson's very close. I mean, he's not warmed his tyres up yet, but he's very close to Andy Pratt.
You reckon?
Well, I say much closer than before. Very close is maybe an over-exaggeration.
4.3, 4.4 going out quickly.
Yeah, and he hasn't warmed up his tyres yet either, so fair enough. But for a moment there, as he actually exited the line, obviously the pit exit road is actually quite long, so he would have lost a lot of time through there. But as he exited the line, he was almost in front, but which I wasn't expecting. But no, it's gonna normalise, isn't it, to about where it was before. And Janssen is going to have to try and slowly pull that margin back now. Really, as Hager goes wide, and there goes Kinney again.
Yeah, it goes through this time, Garrett Kinney. Weston's lost time to Van Dam. Now I wonder if he's just made a mistake there. He's lost a 1.6, they were a lot closer than that. Timmy Wybrow, he's definitely crashed.
Oh dear. Well, it's into turn one, which is not a usual place.
Yeah, back end's going to come round and he's going to end up facing the wall or something.
No.
Wait.
How many times have we seen that, by the way? Not spinning around, but in fact missing the braking point in completely for turn one.
Yeah, that's a weird thing considering they sort of do it every lap, really. That would have been fairly self-explanatory by now, but no, clearly not. Dave Van Dam running side by side at the moment with Tim Wybrow, who is not making this easy at all.
Oh dear, and he will be furious. Van Dam had extended an advantage over Weston, which is completely gone. I mean, you don't have to get out of the way, but you also shouldn't be in the way like this, I'm afraid, for Wybrow. So here comes Dave Van Dam. He's not flashing his lights yet or anything, which so fair play to him. But here we go now. He's going to be able to get through on the way towards Pouhon, but his lead is pretty much completely wiped away.
Gone. All because we don't run to F1 rules.
Oh, thank goodness for that, by the way.
Give over. Not even.
Oh, that's Weston. And is that contact? No, well, your back's out of it. So, well, this is actually going to even out in the end because Weston can't get through either. And now he's having to dive into Stavolo. He still can't get it done.
Oh,
wow. It has evened itself out. Van Dam is going to be feeling a little bit less aggrieved because he might even end up with a bigger lead than he had before.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think they needed to remove himself. Oh, does not have to concede track position, but may not actively defend or block the approaching vehicle. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is pretty close to... Oh, wow, Weston. Very out of shape there, but he gathers it up in time. Yeah, I think he was pretty close there to sort of being more in the way. You know, I try and make that distinction there. Not having to get out of the way F1 style, but I think he was a bit in the way there, personally. But,
everybody gives me grief about it, right? And how I think everybody should run to F1 blue flag rules. Get out of the way. You're slow. Move. You're there for a reason. But that's literally just shown us why. Weston and Van Dam were very close together. Then Wybrow was about Mark got involved and did get out of the way. And this is what I mean.
No, they weren't close together. It affected them equally.
Okay, so yeah, but I still think at the end of the day, move. Like, come on, you know.
I've got no problem with the rule of not having to jump out the way, but as I say, actively defending, you know, I do think is should be off limits. But you know, as I say, it has actually weirdly got us to the same situation here. Van Dam and Weston pretty much as far apart as they were before. Enquist is the lap car that's been, well, not a lap car, sorry, the overall driver here as a GTP who's been confusing me for the last moments in the leaderboard because he's actually coming through to pass these guys 4 places. And Weston goes wide as a result of that, and now he loses even more time to Van Dam, who he's going to hope now gets slowed down by Parker Enquist as well as he gets back into 8th place overall.
Yeah, he's in Le Fanier at the moment. Depends on where he catches.
Well, he's already caught them.
Van Dam. No, is he going to get him in the corner, or is he going to get him? Well, basically like here, curve, pull for air, through he goes. Blanchimont now as well. We train the guys to hold their line, and it is the overtaking. What? Hold on.
Can you just get your finger on the screen there?
We train the guys to hold their line, and that it is the overtaking car's responsibility to overtake. That don't even make sense.
That does make sense.
There's too many words in the middle, Noxie. You didn't have to have that is. You could have just said their line, and it is the overtaking car's responsibility to overtake safely. Didn't have to put that in the middle of that. God, blimey. Too many words at this time, and I can't cope with this.
You just upset your reading skills have been exposed.
I don't know. That makes sense. Makes no sense at all. Too many words. You put, and that is the. No. And it is. And it is the result. No, Noxie. Not happening.
We train the guys that it is the overtaking car's responsibility to overtake safely.
Then there's no comma in there, is there?
No, it doesn't.
Put comma in it. Give over. Done. Dusted. I quit. I'm going home. Bye. Taking my ball and I'm going home now. My mum's calling me for dinner.
Oh dear. That's very funny.
This is me tired. This is not good whatsoever at this time of the evening in the UK. Weston and Van Dam back together again. So they're holding out. GTE's fighting. GTE should be able to go another 10 minutes, I think, on that one. Why was that hard, mate? Pommy education system needs upgraded, doesn't it? It's not that, mate. It's not that. It's you put too many words in there. We train the guys to hold their line, and it is the overtaking car's responsibility to overtake safely. You didn't need, and that it is. No. And that it is. It doesn't even make sense. I'm going to, do you know what? I'm going to put that into Chat GPT and tell me if that's an absolutely grammatical error.
That will give us a very accurate reading on everything, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Trust GPT.
Sarcasm detected. Hager into the pit lane from not first, in fact, nowhere near it in GTE-AM. I wonder whether he's got caught up with Kinney finally after taking quite some risk with one another, those two. I wonder whether Hager's actually gone off. So, yeah, I think he's been in twice according to my timing here. Already seen him in now, so something's gone on here for Hager.
Hager's been in pit lane.
Yeah, but is it with Kinney here?
He goes in pit lane here.
Or is this the time he came in pit lane sort of normally?
Yeah, but then he entered again. He got an unsafe pit entry there because he crossed the white line.
Well, I think that's fine.
No, not if you cross the white line on no entrance. No.
Okay.
But yeah.
He's been in twice, so I don't know what that's about.
So there you go. I think he's caused himself some drama. So apparently, according to ChatGPT, it says the idea is clear, but the sentence could be tightened a bit so it reads more naturally. So there we go. A cleaner version would be we train them to hold their line and make it clear that it is the overtaking driver's responsibility to pass safely. Or more direct, we train them to hold their line so overtaking is the responsibility of the passing driver. See? Thank you. Context. Get it right.
I'm siding with Noxie, I'm afraid.
Well, you would anyway.
Oh no, I wouldn't. With an Australian.
Yeah, exactly.
Not on this occasion.
Oh, well, you did. So there we go. Not happy. Anyway, Noxie, is your missus awake yet? Has she got your breakfast on?
Don't try and shoo him away.
I'm not shooing him away. I'm just asking. He's going to watch it regardless. He's going to watch it regardless. She's going to drive to the beach and he's going to sit there and watch it, isn't he? You know what I mean? I don't even know how far the beach is. He might be walking. So, on that one. Travis Collier has just pointed out he thinks I might have had too much coffee.
Too much or not enough?
I don't know. Where's the line? You know what I mean? When do you distinguish that you've had too much?
Well,
I normally distinguish when I have a coffee crash in the afternoon and go, that's when I've distinguished I've had too much coffee on that one. But there we go. Closest battle on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, with 90 minutes still to go.
Yeah, Van Dam and Weston still. And yeah, the next thing to look at here really for these two is how much further can they go. We've seen quite a few of the GTEs in now, and 3 of them being...
It's the top 5 that haven't.
Just top 5. Gruss and Kinney and Marshall in this time round. Are they going to make it to the... Well, it doesn't really matter if they make it to the hour mark or not. Normally it does, actually, but it's a bit trivial, really. They're not going to make it quite to the hour, only just short of it, though, for Weston and Van Dam, who are both into the pit lane. Smith's going to carry on, though. Brandon Smith carries on for at least one more.
Yeah, Smith's carrying on. So great start from him. So what about Sanford? Oh, he's a long way back at the moment. I'm not overly worried about that currently. And we've got Joshy Taylor, who has unfortunately taken a lot of adventures here at Spa at different points of the race circuit. So Joshy's still got some way to go before he gets anywhere near the pit lane. So yeah, going to be interesting. I think Sanford should be in this time around as well. And apparently Knox's wife is awake and she's going to get some bacon and eggs.
Send her out to get bacon and eggs as well. Goodness me.
I know, but he did give her a lion.
Well, hardly. It's 9:20.
Still a lion. Hey, for me to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that is a lion.
Aaron Sanford's in as well from the lead in AM. So who? Well, yeah, I guess we'll find out in a sec who is going to be the leader in AM, because I still don't understand what happened to Hager. He's been in twice.
I think he got a pit lane penalty.
I mean, but why would that mean he'd come in twice?
Because he had to come in once and then he's got to come in and serve the penalty.
But you'd serve the penalty at the stop.
No, he came in once for the pit stop. And then if he got a penalty, that pit lane, he had to come in again, serve the penalty. Or he's also just gone and done this, mind you. So this isn't helping.
Right, here we... Yeah, thank you.
What? You weren't on about that? We were talking about his pit stops.
I was hinting that there might have been something else going on. You couldn't stop talking about pit lane penalties. Anyway, that is...
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, I guess that's... I mean...
He must have... That was technical. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Either that or he was thinking about bacon and eggs.
Yes. That looks to me like a monitor turned off because he still seemed to have control of the car, but not entirely. Not entirely seeing where he was going there, but obviously hard to tell from where we are. Weston is out some time in front of Van Dam, and this is where the interest comes in GTE in a longer race, and this is why it's an advantage to have such a long race, by the way. Weston able to have a 10-second shorter pit stop than Van Dam this time around. Now, that might well flip itself over later, but for now, it's put Weston in the net race lead here in GTE-PRO, unless Smith does something even shorter than that in his pit stop. And yeah, we've got an interesting middle part of the race before this converges maybe at the end in the final hour or so.
Yeah, this is Case and Collier closing in on Stephen Laird. They're going to be very, very close together very, very shortly. I think it's going to be a run down the hill. How close can Collier get? Look at the dust and the dust and rubbish just spitting up behind them. A load of gravel coming on there. The question is Collier going to get close enough this time around? And I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah, he's in the slipstream, Collier, but too far back from here this time round. There's lots of traffic in front, though. There's one of it. That will be negotiated quite easily. I think that's Smith actually coming out the pit lane, isn't it?
Oh, he got it wrong, Laird. Laird got Lacombe wrong.
Just a bit of a slide through the first part. So we ride on board with Collier closing in. There's another bit of lap traffic in front, and there's a GTP as well. So we've got in-class traffic to come here as well. And as we always say, any of these bits of traffic could really change this battle here between these two.
Absolutely. Diving up the inside. See, that's how you do it. Look, you just move over and let them go through. Amazing.
I don't think he intended to do that, but when he saw those two coming through, thought, okay.
I would.
I'll stay. Well, yeah, it does seem sensible. I'll stay out the way through Pouhon and let the two come roaring through. Generally, as well as Knox has been pointing out, the Vegard Jansen's getting closer to Andy Pratt as well. Just a little bit.
It's gone back out to 8 seconds.
Well, it has gone back out as soon as I thought that, but yeah, generally it has been coming down. 3.7 from Pratt this time. We'll wait for the time for Jansen. I think it will be slower. But generally, since the pit stop, it has been coming down just a little bit. And yeah, that must have been a mistake or traffic that time round, because that's a 2:05.6. That's over a second and a half slower than his best. But Jansen is not done here. Andy Pratt looked like he was going to be absolutely dominant early on in this race, but Jansen is showing that it isn't going to be that easy.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work, though, isn't he? It's Jansen. 8.5 seconds is a long time. And, Damien Hayward's crashed 3 times apparently. It's quite interesting.
Oh dear, this is not the place you want it either.
No, it's very, very...
He might just slow down at the bus stop here, depending on what happens here. Inside this
No,
he brakes far too late.
And then what did he do after that? He had another one not long after that. Oh, don't go around in a circle. That would be embarrassing.
Oh, he's all right.
It's the same. Oh, it is. It's all
Yeah, it'd be the
linked.
same thing. It would just be the fact he went very slowly through here, but yeah. Too late on the inside there. You're a long way from your braking markers, which are always on the left-hand side as you're coming towards the chicane there at the end. And yeah, that's what would have happened there. Now, the GTE interest has come through tyres here, because the only 4-tyre taker is Dave Van Dam in third place now in GTE-PRO. But because the GTEs take fuel and tyres at different times, it is tactically sensible sometimes to actually only take 2, and that's what Weston has done, and Brandon Smith as well. Dave Van Dam's taken 4. You'd think in the cooler conditions very late in this race that he might not take 4 at the final stop, but to be honest, the temperatures have been very cool all throughout this race anyway, so there's not that much of an advantage for leaving it late. But what he has done here, Van Dam, is definitely giving himself some work to do, giving himself some catching to do, but he's given himself some fresh tyres to do it with, as he has already closed on Smith, and he's looking to make that pass for second here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to try and get close enough, isn't he? Van Dam, he's got 4 new tyres, so that's going to help him out here. He's 4 temps back at the moment, coming down very, very quickly indeed. So let's see how they all get on up through El Rouge and Radion. And away they go there as well. Clearly, we need to teach the GTP drivers that the GTEs are better under brakes and early acceleration. Or if you've got nobody to race, just remove yourself from the equation.
There's another example. And he's off. Johansson, that is. He's chasing Andy Pratt hard, and he gained on the previous lap. He's going to do well to gain anything on this lap because he's gone off through Lecomte, and he is now going to slip past Smith, but slipped off the road there as he'd passed Van Dam for that on-track position. But it's an interesting point that we always raise with the multi-class traffic, that you think because the GTPs are faster over the course of a lap, you sort of forget the intricacies that actually through some of these corners, and as Noxie points out there, in some of the especially slower speed stuff, big braking zones, big traction zones, the GTEs, mechanical grip where it's important, these GTEs are faster, and you do forget that when over the course of a lap a GTP is obviously way faster. You forget there are these moments where it's not quite like that.
Absolutely, I think that's the thing. They've got to be aware of the situation, isn't it? Noxie, I think we need to talk.
That can't be true.
I tell you what, if that is true, dude, you must have been your skin. Like, you know what I mean? You can't have come out of the divorce with anything. That can't be true.
I think we've blended over to the time where I'm not going to be able to recognise what's real and what's a joke.
I know. As Van
Dam
up the inside of Smith into bus stop, gets it stopped, gets the job done on that one. So great job from Dave Van Dam. That can't be right, surely. Maybe Noxie's bumped him off. Maybe he's like a male Black Widow. You know what I mean? Are they buried buried under his patio? I don't know. Red West style. I don't know, like if it's a situation, who knows? Maybe he is Henry VIII. Maybe he's chopped their heads off. Who knows? What have you done?
Case,
I know. No wonder he didn't. His wife goes and gets him bacon and eggs.
Scared of him.
Scared of him, yeah. Go and get me bacon and eggs. Okay, don't chop my head off. I've seen what you've done to the other three. I don't even know if this is true. This is what happens when you put two British people on the broadcast after midnight, okay? Things just go wrong. Watershed don't even matter. We're past 9 o'clock now. Say what we like.
Oh, you could argue it's before 9 o'clock again because it's midnight.
No, it's well past over 9 o'clock. We say whatever we like. It's fine. No swearing. Apparently.
Oh, right. So not anything I like.
No, I got asked though the other day that they reckon that we should do a midnight after broadcast after night broadcast where anything goes. Can you imagine that?
Broadcasting what though? I don't.
No, I read like a race. Apparently, people would want us to basically let loose on the racetrack.
Okay.
Well, not let loose on the racetrack, but no.
No, yeah, that you definitely don't. That'd be worse.
Seen your driving.
Have you?
Yeah, you did NASCAR.
Oh yeah. No, I was taken out. That wasn't my fault.
Typical. Anybody would think it's a typical iRacing driver now, would they? Not my fault. Somebody did it to me.
I actually don't think it was. But anyway. I don't know. I think you'd find rather boringly. It's quite similar to this, maybe with less care for swear words, but.
I think you might be right.
Quite similar.
Really.
I
mean, the thing is as well, like general things that we say, or I say, because I stupidly just don't really care and don't really think about before I speak. Like things like hugging the white line tighter than his favourite grandma. There's another one that you could use in representation of that. But that could count to misuse if you don't say it right. But you know what I mean.
Okay. Anyway. There is a battle, by the way, for second in AM. I was wondering in the last, or in the only pit stop phase so far, for the GTEs, quite where it was actually going to fall, because Hager's had that problem technically, as we saw, and so he has dropped to 5th. So Chris Slane's now the leader again, and actually by a much bigger margin than I thought he was going to be, 18 seconds, but I'll bring that up because there was definitely a battle between Aaron Sanford and Nick Marshall a couple of minutes ago. Nick Marshall did not take any tyres, I don't think, under that previous stop. Sanford took at least 2, maybe 4. So he has got through pretty quickly, and look at the way that he's been able to get away as well. a second and a half already that he holds over Marshall. And now he can go and try and chase Slane, because Chris Slane hasn't taken any tyres either at his latest pit stop, so he's really going to be run down.
Yeah, absolutely. Sanford's going to be playing catch up. Slane's hoping that he can get to the next pit stop without any dramas. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Sanford, on how much time Sanford's going to get near him there. Noxie, this time she's at the house, not me. Which wife was that, Noxie? No, I don't know, get that. Which wife was that? That number 1, 2, 3? Or if you are really true, 4. Which one got it? Oh, there we go. So, yeah, gripping we've got going on at the moment in time with Van Dam and Smith, and a back marker there as well, which is Justin Lanier.
And we're in that stage where it's not just the people in different classes, but also those in the same class. Smith has done a very good job of staying with Van Dam, actually, because he doesn't have the tyres that Van Dam does, but sticking with him quite nicely at the moment. Now the Porsche is going to get out the way on the way towards the bus stop chicane, or at least pull off to the left-hand side to let these guys get the inside, which they do now. And that's nicely done. Glad to say, by the way, that despite some of the longer stops we've seen in the last few moments, that believe that we have only got 2 retirements so far. I actually thought Romano was still going, but no, he isn't going. Neither is Oliver, who's just retired as well not that long ago. But yeah, it's been decent so far in the way of crashes. We really haven't had so many, which is always a worry for a long race.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a little bit of drama. Drivers, making silly mistakes and stuff, but yeah.
Sorry, we've just had some drama for Pratt. I think he's disconnected. I think Andy Pratt's just disconnected. It should be a huge shame about halfway through this race. He's nowhere to be seen.
I think you might be right. He's gone.
Well, there was a really interesting race between him and Vegard Johansson.
Somewhere there.
Boiling up. Yeah, there it is.
Radion is gone.
It's a real shame to see it end like that. It's as I say, it was shaping up to be a really good race between those two, a really exciting race. But unfortunately, we're going to be denied that. And look how it's changed here. Collier, yes, is up to second here, and he's clear of anybody else, free to come and chase. But Johansson is leading now by 25 seconds, and that's a very big margin to try and cross.
Not happening. I don't think Cayson's quite got the pace at Spa.
Well, you've got to remember that a lot of that gap between Johansson and Collier did come from a spin that was as a result of contact for Collier. So not saying that doesn't count and can't be written off, but just saying, he hasn't lost 25 seconds on pace in half a race.
Did Andy crash? No, he just disconnected, mate.
Looks like it.
He just went poof, unfortunately.
And he's not back yet either. So he might not be that far down if he returns and he races on. He could still get maybe a top 5. Gaps behind are quite large. But yeah, otherwise, going to be pretty tricky for him, really. Well, it's obviously not going to win from here with the disconnection. But yeah, that is such a shame. Not least for the actual race and the battle that we were surely going to see, but also for Pratt himself, which was he was having a very good run, one of his best of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be the hardest thing, isn't it? He goes for literally an hour and 15 minutes, and it just all goes wrong. So, internet and Tinternet is wonderful things, aren't they? As I know.
It's actually Travis Collier in YouTube earlier who was messaging us about storms going through where they are and worried about Kaysen not making this whole race.
Yeah, so far so good. Touch wood. Kaysen's doing a good job. Whereabouts is he? Where is he? Don't say America. Obviously I know. Oh, dearie me. I meant where?
No, I don't know where. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No. Noxie was just saying it's best for his championship if it ends that way. Well, I'm not sure how...
that was before everybody disconnected.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I was wondering. What's it going to be like now? Well, Johansson is going to get past Collier, but only just in the championship, I think, based on the points at the moment as they are, given their first and second. And I'm not sure what Ian's drop round's going to be. So I'm not sure how much further behind he'll be. But I think if it stays like this, the top two in this race will be the defined top two in the championship.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be an interesting run-in for the next couple of races there as well. Travis Collier, Arkansas.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. I didn't know there were particularly. Well, I guess, yeah. Just thunderstorms rather than tornado country, is that? No, I
don't know. And Noxie talking about pigeon internet that Australians have. Do you actually have like fibre optic or anything like that, Noxie? Or is it all just literally pigeon internet?
I think it's because they're connecting to the other side of the world, isn't it?
Oh, no.
Rather than the poor quality? I don't really know. Maybe it's both.
Yeah, it's just rubbish. Connection through cables. You know what I mean? It's a long way to travel.
It is a long way to go, yeah. But, yeah, Pratt's back again while we've been talking about it. Fourth place, but as I mentioned, the gap's behind so large from that, well, what was the top four. Now I guess we call it top three. But, well, is he back? Oh, he just dropped. He's dropped again. He's gone again.
Yeah, he ain't. He's not back, mate. He's in and out.
He's come back once. He's gone again. That's not where he disconnected from. I've seen him move to a different part of the racetrack and disconnect again. Oh no, he's crashed. Oh, goodness me. Well,
now I would give up.
That really might be it now.
Yeah, control F4.
I mean,
F4, gone.
I mean, it would have been so frustrated to have disconnected and then to try and regather yourself, and then obviously you got to go out on cold tyres as well, which is pretty annoying to begin with. And yeah, he has that crash, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the end for tonight for Andy Pratt. So that is a real shame. He was fourth place in the championship coming in today. Did need to start getting some better results, and a win tonight would have absolutely got him on that track. But he's not going to get that anymore. He's not going to get any form of point score, it doesn't look like anymore.
No, absolutely. I think Pratt's going to have to hold off and wait for the next round in that 2 weeks' time. Manning was very close to Nick Marshall, but Manning has pulled away there as well. Kaysen is northwest Arkansas, apparently. And they do have fibre optic, but it's not massively stable. How can you not make a cable stable?
I don't know. I don't really understand the internet, to be honest with you.
Oh, I don't know. I know mine comes through fibre optic cables.
I pay some people and they give me internet.
Well, that's all what I do. The only time
I don't take an interest in the cables like you do.
No, well, I didn't have a choice. They had to install it because I've got a full fibre optic box thing, and they had to install it on the side of my house. So I asked them, where does it go? And it's about apparently 10 metres away from my house is the box. So yeah, that's why I can run on 900 up and 900 down, which is quite nice. But yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you've had some fights with your internet. I just
mine. The thing is with mine. Yeah, go on. I just paid some people to install it, and they did, and it's been fine since. Yeah, the problem is every now and then it will drop out because there's a new infrastructure around where I'm living. So they've completely rebuilt it. So obviously it's going to have teething issues, right? But then they send me an email. It says, "Oh, your internet's going to be down between this time and this time." But generally, I've forgotten. So there are times when I'm in it, a few times where we've been in a broadcast and it's cut off, and I've gone, oh no, everything's gone, and it's then I look back through my emails and I find out that it was actual service that was due or something like that. But they do take it down generally late at night and bring it back up early hours of the morning. So
not many people are meant to be using it, but here we are.
Yeah, I know, but then many people don't talk about pretend race cars at virtual race circuits.
No, apparently not.
You know what I mean?
Which is odd, isn't it?
I can't imagine why. It's how is this not mainstream? I never know. Who knew on that one? So there we go. 1 hour and 9 minutes to go. Everything's settled down. I'll tell you what might be worth doing, Mr. O'Leary. Taking a couple of minutes, having a quick break, because I've run out of coffee. I'm not going to get another one, but I do need to go and get a drink of water or something in the process. So I think that might be a good idea.
Okay, well, we'll just have a lap on board with somebody or a couple while we do that. Should we choose somebody who's sort of close-ish. See if somebody can catch another. Let's go on board with Dave Van Dam. I know he's 5 or 6 seconds behind Tom Weston, but he is chasing and closing at the moment. And at the moment, the gap just less than 6 seconds. Last time around, he only took 2 attempts. I think he'll be aiming to take a little bit more than that. Last time around, he did his personal, or this time around even, his personal best second sector. So he's certainly on the charge at the moment. Let's run on board with him a little bit as the night time really comes upon us now. And Dave Van Dam chases Tom Weston for for first place indeed in the GTE Pro class. Riding on board with Dave Van Dam, bringing the gap down to just 4 seconds to Tom Weston on the lap we're riding on board with there. 6 tenths quicker than Weston. With an hour and 5 to go here. It's the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series Mini Endurance Round from Spa. A 2.5 hour race as opposed to the normal 45 minutes that we have. It's a proper endurance for these guys. Because there's no driver stops or whatever. They've got to stay focused for the duration. Nick Marshall has just had a couple of problems as we've come back here, by the way. He's tried to be clever there and let GTP pass and then come back to the racing line. He's gone straight off down there at turn number 1. But let's stay with GTE for a moment. It is a fascinating situation between Weston and Van Dam. One driver on with two new tyres, one with 4 from that previous pit stop. Van Dam just slowly making up the time he lost, changing those extra 2 tyres to Tom Weston, who's preserving that lead with the older tyres and may well have to start defending before long as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to start coming in now, isn't he, at the same time? 3.4 seconds for Van Dam. As I said, last time out, he did pull nearly just under 1.5 seconds on him. So Van Dam there still got a bit of work to do over Weston. You see Weston 1.2 seconds he lost on lap 37 alone. So the last lap there.
Yep, there you go. It started to get more severe in the last 3 laps, the time loss for Weston. As you can see there, before it was sort of, same really. Gained a little bit, lap 33, lost a little bit, 34. It's since completely spiralled. We'll see whether that continues. Kason Collier's into the pit lane with an hour to go. So nobody's making it on 2 stops in GTP. We already knew that. But to be honest, I didn't realise GTP pit stops were so close. And yeah, here they are. Janssen did 23 laps first time round. That means he'll be able to go another 4 laps after this one. He's in a better fuel situation, it seems, as well as having the lead over Collier at the moment.
Absolutely. For them as well. 40 minutes, 80 minutes is an hour 20. Top of the hour. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, possibly even one more, I think. I don't think Kayson's going to be able to.
Pit stop,
I don't think Kayson's. I don't think
this is only stop number 2. So,
yeah, I don't think he's going to get to the end there for Kayson Collier. So he's going to have to go again with an hour and 2 minutes left.
It's only going to be a splash though, this final stop. So it will be an hour on these tyres. But that's no concern. This is Damien Hayward, who is now the last running GTP, by the way, because Andy Pratt's retired. So last running is Hayward in 7th. He's had trouble with this corner tonight, and he hits one of the Porsches there. Sam Cougar, as he's getting lapped there by the Porsche. As I say, Hayward's been having trouble with that corner, and that's just proved it again there.
Both men trying to come back onto the track there so they don't get any form of slowdown. However, Sam Cougar has now got a penalty, so I think that contact is just going to send him into pit lane for either stop and hold or a drive-through. So unfortunately for Sam Cougar, he has now got a drive-through.
The gravel there being brought down the road like spray in a wet circuit. It's just pebbles bouncing all over the place there. People going off. That's sorry. I thought Van Dam was pulling off for a slowdown or something there. That's Kason Collier coming out the pit lane. This is going to be very awkward. Watch this through Lecomte. This car is going to be slow into Lecomte, and it's going to slow down Dave Van Dam a lot. Well, that Cadillac might have done it anyway. The Cadillac goes for a spin. It's Parker Enquist who was trying to lap him. Thankfully, that's cost him so much time. Van Dam's not slowed by Collier, but look at the cold tyres here for a GTP. You're not even getting away from a GT car.
Yeah, he can't at the moment. Kason Collier is going to have to try and get his head down and just trying to get some warmth into them tyres through No Name and on the run down into Pouron. That GTP will obviously open up on that little bit of straight, but then he'll come back in once more as well. So yeah, Kayson's going to have a little bit of a fight on his hands at the moment, trying to get some warmth into them GTP tyres.
He's just about managing it now through that faster corner. He's obviously got the downfalls to lean on through Pouron, and yeah, he's getting there now in terms of getting up to speed. Track temperature, by the way, as we about to cross 1 hour to go, only 21 degrees Celsius. It was like that pretty much off the start, wasn't it? 21 Celsius.
Yeah, I don't really feel it's moved. Yeah, I don't think it's moved a whole great deal, no. Kayson runs a little bit wide there, coming through curb pull for it, but manages to keep it going in the right direction. This time Parker Enquist does clear Dave Van Dam cleanly, 3.8 seconds. Time steadied out again with himself and Tom Weston. And for Dave at the moment, he's now going to have to try and get his momentum back going again and bring that time down once more. He's done a great job. It was out about 6.5 seconds, brought it down to 3.5, but it is opening back out again.
It has on this lap. Hasn't played in his hands at all, but yeah, look at Enquist still catching Collier there actually on that at the end of that lap. Even though the GTs now can't actually stay with the prototypes as is normal, Enquist has got a chance of unlapping himself here. See what he does as he now moves into the top 5, by the way, with that stop for Sam Cougar. just under an hour to go. Here he comes, Enquist, into the slipstream. And is he going to make a point of staying behind here, even though the Porsche's on colder tyres? I think he is. So, yeah, and there you go. Look at the lifting off there. He'll take the free fuel save because he knows that even if he gets through at this point here, it might well benefit them for the next few corners. Well, he's faster than Collier, but he knows it's not going to last long. And in a few laps, they're just going to have to reverse positions again anyway, so he decides not to go through, and I think that's probably the right call.
Absolutely. I think it's probably easier just to follow somebody. Justin Lanier has had a bit of a nightmare here at Spa, and unfortunately it has not got any easier going into the bus stop for him. Unfortunately goes around and faces the wrong way. But Justin Lanier gets it out of the way though before Chris Slane comes up behind him.
Yeah, well done on getting out of the way so quickly. Slane has got a real lead now, by the way. His stop was so short first time round, and surprised he's still going actually. He can't be far from coming in, Slane, but look at the lead he's got in GTE-AM now. The no tyre change and short fill strategy has given him a very big lead, and I think that might have been in reaction really to the situation as it was before those stops. Remember, Hager was leading by a very long way at that time, and that might have got him into the lead and got Slane back into the race, and who knows what can happen from there. But yeah, none of that was necessary as it turned out, with Hager crashing, although Slane obviously wasn't to know that. He's now leading by a very long way in that classes. Enquist still close to Collier here. These tyres do take an awful long time to warm up, and that's why I think the guys are going for a strategy, not today of sort of taking 3 pit stops where they're not brimming the tank every time and sort of trying to even it out so that they can take tyres every time, because you need to take about 20 seconds of fuel to be covered by tyres. But instead they're going for 2 very long fills, absolutely to the brim, and then 1 very short fill, because they don't want to go through a third phase of warming these tyres up, especially not at night.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be doing that either. It's going to take a couple of laps for Kaysen to get himself going. So if I was him, I would probably just try and hold on, stay in front, warm him up as you go, and see how he gets on. But he's still not pulling away from Parker Enquist. Enquist still tucked in there. But as you say, at the moment, Enquist is probably using it for fuel saving. No need to go and make the overtake, do something silly. It'd be nice to unlap himself, but at the end of the day, he's got to go back at some point. So for Parker Enquist, doing the right thing at the moment.
He is hanging out behind Collier, and now the two will start to separate with the tyres warming up, coming up to temperature where they should be. We're in the final stop window now for GTEs, by the way, and we've seen a couple of drivers taking advantage already. Chad Henson's in, Tim Wybrown's in for a different reason though, I think, because his pit stop now is getting up towards 1.5 minutes already. So something's gone on there. But yeah, Henson's come in. He was one of those top 4 contenders before. Now though, it's really fallen apart for him in GTE-PRO. It's really down to a 2-horse race there. The Western has slowed Van Dam, closing on him quite so rapidly as he was earlier.
Yeah, it gets back out to 3.9, not massive, but it's a bit of a gain, give Western a little bit of a breathing spot here as well. But Parker Enquist gets it stopped, does he, into the bus stop? Yes, he does, there at the same time. So, yeah, Parker is being smart here. It's good to see he is being smart on that one. You say it like it makes a change, Noxie, I've got to be honest, but no, it's good to see from Parker.
That's not the vibe I picked up from that sentence, but maybe it is.
No, I'm not saying it's the way it's. I don't know. Maybe I word it.
No, it is good to see that he's displaying sense, because it's not obvious. When you see someone on cold tyres like that, you think almost automatically, I must get past them. And he lifts off again here. Look at the free fuel that you're getting. You can see the advantage of it. It's just free fuel basically here, and no awkwardness later. As I said, there would become a point, and there is going to become a point here where Collier's just a lot quicker than Enquist, and they're just going to have to reverse their places again anyway. So, yeah, it is smart driving. That's absolutely the right call to make as well. Interested actually that Enquist in this round, and indeed it seems for quite a lot of this season, the only Cadillac in the field. I do wonder what that's down to. I don't think the Cadillac's brilliant in a very long straight line speed situation like at the Kemmel Straight here, but obviously they don't pick their cars per round, they pick it for a whole season. Interesting as to why he's one of the only ones to go for the Cadillac. He's a bit lonely out there, much like Hayward with the Acura. He's the only one of those as well.
Yeah, the other Porsche and BMWs there at the same time. You know, we've got obviously the two Fords, GTE, Ferraris, the Porsches and the Corvettes. But yeah, for these guys, you know, might as well be different. One and only. I mean it is JP, but not what I meant. See, make that make sense.
I can make sense of that.
Of course you can. Of course.
Because I can read English, apparently. I'm the only one who can.
Get out.
Slade's in, by the way, again from GTE-AM. And Johansson's about to be in the background as well here, by the way. He was not far from putting a lap on Collier. But you see he's not there anymore. You can't see him in the background because he's down the pit lane. Here's Johansson. I think. Is he?
No.
Where is he? He carried on?
He did carry on, yeah.
Okay. That's longer than he did the first stint round. So
there you go.
Well, maybe he can cut out a pit stop. Doesn't need to anymore to get past Pratt because he's already ahead of him. But yeah, he can go 24 laps, it seems. We'll still need a splash for maybe even only one lap of fuel at this rate. But anyway, impressive to see. Maybe if he goes 24 again at the end, he might be able to do this race on 2 stops. But as we said earlier, it's not a place where you can easily get an extra lap of fuel, save an extra lap of fuel.
No, it's not. You can lift and coast down here, of course, into Lacombe, maybe down into Rivage and that way, but it's still not, you know, it's doable, but you've got to really be on the money as to when you're going to do it. He's apparently Knox is disappointed he's not here because the Ferrari is very competitive.
I frankly didn't register that there wasn't a Ferrari here, to be honest. Forgot it existed, but for a moment, for a brief moment. But yeah, it is always annoying when you have these weeks you have to miss, and you know that your car would have gone well, or you like that circuit or whatever. But there you go. Here comes Hager on Marshall, and that is a very easy pass indeed from Sam Hager. Nick Marshall can't be far away from running out of fuel, but same again for Hager, to be honest. They'll be making their final pit. Well, actually, sorry, I'm marking them up against the lap the race leader's on. Of course, they're not on the same lap as the race leader. They're in fact 5 laps down. So apologies for that. They do have quite a few more laps to go yet. But anyway, Hager pretty easily through a Marshall, who does seem to be going slowly for whatever reason. Maybe his tyres are in bad shape because he hasn't changed them yet. He's still on the ones from the start of the race.
That's going to be one of the things, isn't it, now? How are you going to work that one out? What's going to happen? Who's going to do what? And, yeah, Inquest does dive into pit lane. He's down into pit lane at the moment as well as Parker Inquest. But yeah, Viggo Johansson's also just dived into pit lane. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Jeff Manning here, but something has.
Whoa. Oh, goodness.
And then goes into the bus stop. I think he's too quick. Yeah.
That was scary through Blanchimont itself. Just drove off the road and then rejoined on that curb.
It's one of them awkward half spins, isn't it, there, unfortunately?
Yeah.
Viggo Johansson's in, Bartlett's in, and Enquist is in pit lane for the GTPs.
Yeah, so I can't decide whether they are going to make it to the end now if Johansson does another 24 laps stint. The reason why I can't really understand the disparity between the first 2 stints mainly is because the formation lap is not that long here when we're doing the short formation lap as we did here. You know, they line up on the, as Laird comes in as well, they line up on the way before pit path there, here in fact, and that's not a very long way round to the front straight, so surely that wasn't what was holding Johansson back from getting the 24 laps. But anyway, if he'd done 24 all the time on all 3 stints, he might have he definitely would have made it, but he only might make it now. It's going to be, in that case though, 1 less stop than Case and Collier, who might end up behind them anyway. But if he's making an extra stop compared to the others, he's not going to sit behind 3rd because there's a big gap, but he's going to be nowhere near the top 2.
Yeah, no, absolutely not for Case and Collier at the moment in time. Question is he going to dive in now? Or is he going to be able to go one more? I think the smart thing...
Collier hasn't long been in. He'll go a long way, but It's whether he stops again before the end and the others do too, is the question mark I've got.
Yes, because he pitted on lap 41.
Yeah. Wasn't that long ago.
No, absolutely not. So where is Stephen Laird in conjunction? Oh, still stationary. Jason should get second.
Will be for another 30 seconds.
Yeah. Station still get Kaysen gets second place there. As Laird still in pit lane. There he goes. Job goes through for Kaysen Collier. Good job with 48 minutes to go. So,
yes, this is almost exactly 2-minute racetrack for the leaders, or not that far above 2 minutes, so we can work this out. When Johansson gets to the line, we can actually work this out. But I think 24 laps in that case will be enough. Oh, well, it's going to be close. I'll wait for him to cross the line, then I'll do some maths. But 24 laps might be enough for Johansson here. If he can't do 25, that much has been made very clear from the start of this race. But will the 24 be enough for him to make it to the end of the race? He is slowing down behind one of the Ferraris, just saving a little bit of fuel there as he has to stay behind through this section. Now we'll open up as he comes through the curve pull for it. Oh, miscommunication. Was there contact, or was that just a big swerve from Johansson there? Hopefully there wasn't contact. It's hard to tell in the darkness, but that was a definite miscommunication, as they both went the same way, and they really caused trouble there, or caused danger anyway. He's going to carry on again, Johansson here. So, as he crosses the start-finish line, what is the time going to be in terms of time remaining? It's going to be 47 minutes 32. Now, there'll be 23 laps to go in his stint. He needs 2 minutes a lap would be 46 minutes, so he needs it to be 92 seconds more than that. And 23 times 4 is 92. So as long as the average lap time isn't better than 2:04, then he'll be fine. The best lap in this race is a 2:03, so it is possible to run in the 2:04s or better, but it's unlikely. And in any case, if Johansson is close, then he'll just slow down a bit. So I think he can make it, unless he sets the world on fire with unbelievable pace. Then he's going to make this on just 2 stops.
No, there'd be no need for him to push it, though, would there? You know what I mean? Let's be real. Exactly. If he's got to take it easy, he's got a 27-second gap. Take it easy. Save as much fuel as he can and get to the end on that one.
Not even about fuel, but about, well, obviously he needs 24 laps, which does need a bit of fuel. But, I mean, you know, he could just slow down for the timer to do one less lap. Don't even worry about the fuel. Just do one less lap.
Yeah, that works as well.
In that scenario, he'd be leading by a minute, because Collier's going to disappear with that extra stop, even if it's, you know, the smallest splash you've ever seen. A drive-through is going to put him behind Laird at the moment, in with a 34-second gap. So effectively, Johansson can say, I'm leading this race by a minute. I can slow down almost as much as I need here.
The question is would he be thinking about that in the car?
Well,
or have you just given him the
not.
idea?
I always find it very difficult in our racing to know quite clearly how many laps are to go when you're actually driving. You know, trying to look at it, because, you know, you want, well, maybe it's just me, you want the relative box up most of the time, but you have to flick around to try and find the time remaining, and it's quite hard to do the maths then on the fly when you're flicking around the different boxes on the straight. I find it quite difficult, so maybe, unless he's got somebody telling him, of course, in which case it's much easier.
Yeah, I dread to think the other Norwegian that's awake at this time in the morning, to be honest with him.
Oh yeah, he already sent us the sleeping emoji before the race started.
Exactly. And now he's out in front with 45 minutes to go, so, you know.
Race started after midnight for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. If he runs down the penultimate lap, the lap before, and then figures it out that actually I can make this the final lap, then there's no reason why he won't slow down, to be honest. Vegard is pretty smart. He probably will be thinking about his fuel. So there's not to.
Yeah, I actually think he won't actually need to think about the time here. He's got to make sure he does 24 laps on fuel, you know, and he'll know that, as you say, and he will do that, I believe. But it's the time I'd be more concerned about. And to be honest, I think it'll be fine. I mean, as I say, he'd have to average, his average lap time would have to be better than 2:04. You know, that would be better than all but 3 people's fastest lap in this race. So that would be an insane average to keep up for nearly an hour. And so I don't even think he has to worry about it particularly. Just make sure you can do 24 laps on fuel, and the rest will take care of itself. Collier, by the way, is doing his final stop now. So it's a bit early, but now he's getting his fuel in, and it's taken a while. That's more than I thought he needed, but 13 seconds, and that should get him home.
Yeah, should be a job done for him. Stephen Laird has got himself a slowdown, unfortunately, at the moment. And Chad Henson has just passed Adam Sanford for position on track. Of course, that's a Pro-Am fight. So, them guys passing each other and fighting it out on the racetrack. As Sanford there moves out the way for Stephen Laird. And Laird does manage to go through. Enquist in pit lane, Marshall in pit lane. Marshall did have drama before that, mind you.
Okay, well, that's an important one for Marshall. Well, obviously, if he's had trouble, then it's a double important one. But here we go. Through Lecon. Oh, through Malmedy. And he does graze the wall. It's not that bad. The time loss will be worse, I think. And we'll see how long. He's been showing us in pit lane, but not in his box for a long time.
Yeah, but it is a long old run, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Yeah, no, oh, yeah, it really was just the pit lane. Wow, it really was just the pit lane for the pit lane. Goodness me.
It's a long pit lane, these ones.
Ages.
Yeah, they got to go down around the hill and then out, and it's horrendous. So, unfortunately for them, it's a long old one. So, let's see how they all get on. I also think that Chad is looking to not have the final stop. So you might end up with Dave, Tom and Chad all together in for the win at the end.
Okay.
Because apparently Tom was got to take 4 tyres, Dave's got to take 2 tyres. That's what Andy predicted earlier on.
Yeah, unless Tom takes 2 again, just the other 2 that he didn't take first time round. But I agree with Noxie that it probably is going to be 4 for Weston and 2 for Van Dam, and then we're going to have basically the reverse of the situation we have now, and have had for nearly an hour now, where Van Dam's been running down Weston, and it just as he nearly gets there, we're going to have a pit stop, and the roles are going to be reversed. But if they have to stop before Van Dam gets to Weston, then you could say, that's 1-0 to Weston, if you like, because he's going to just be slightly in front and a bit closer to Van Dam on that chase in the final half an hour.
Yeah, it's going to make it a very, very interesting final half an hour here to see how these guys get on and who's going to end up coming back together after the final stop. We from our point of view, we'd hope somebody would come back together, give us something to talk about for the last 10 minutes or so, but we'd have to just wait and sit and be patient.
That's the thing about sort of strategy races like this. I think there's always, well, maybe it's just because I talk about strategy all the time and sort of think about it the whole of these races, but and there's a strategy yet to unwind. There's still interest left in this race. There's still unpredictability left in this race. There's still, something that can happen later on, and we don't know what direction that's going to go in GTE-PRO. Admittedly, it is much different up here. Vegard Johansson has just got to avoid running out of fuel and avoid crashing into any GT cars that he has to make a pass on in the next 40 minutes, and he'll be a race winner again in this series. As I mentioned earlier, with the points away, actually with Collier on course at the moment to finish 3rd, although he's chasing Laird down, and I think that could get close before the end, but let's just say he does, then Johansson, I think, is going to be the clear championship leader at the end of this, ahead of Collier, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they'll be even, but Johansson will be either joint leader or leader on his own, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that one. Vegard Johansson doing a great job here at Spa. Hitting his marks, doing what he needs to do, stay out in front, as you say, keep the fuel, get to the end, job's a good one, job done.
Just reading the comment about Chad Henson's strategy, whether that could be back-ended. I mean, it will be audacious. Again, we just have to see when Weston and Van Dam come in, because Henson came in 7 laps ago. But 7 laps? Well, he can go to... Can he? Oh, yeah, definitely. It's only 7 laps. Yeah, he can definitely go to the end. But he's just made his final stop a long time before anybody else. I would worry that, he's running with a heavier car for so long that would eventually not be an advantage. But here we go. We're about to find out part of it because Van Dam's in pit lane. Dave Van Dam into the pit lane right now. Weston could still go at least 4 more laps, I think, but whether he wants to or not is another thing. It's going to be very interesting to see if Van Dam's anywhere near Henson here, and that way we'll know whether Chad Henson is a contender for this GTE Pro race.
There's a lot. He's only just coming around though, isn't he? He's down into Rivage at the moment.
Yeah,
It's Henson.
He'll be in the final sector before Van Dam's even in his pit box.
Yeah, I don't even know if that. Nope, still not there.
Long run down the other pit lane now. This is the old pits. This is where most of the pit boxes are because they're filled up from the pit exit on back. I think everybody's actually down this pit lane.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's. I don't think there's enough cars to go down the other bit.
So there's Henson. Stop's going to be about. Well, it could be about a minute. This stop still. So let's just hold on. Oh, even in that case, to be honest, he wouldn't be near Van Dam. But let's see. If you don't mind, if we see Van Dam's at pit stop ourselves, we'll see if he goes upon the jacks or not, or whether he just leaves. Oh, he's just leaving. Wow, he's not taking on any more tyres. He took 4 first time round, so we knew he wasn't going to do 4 again. Didn't know how many he was going to take. Predicted 2. He has taken none, and that is an interesting call. I mean, in these cool temperatures, not a bad call, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. If he's going to make the tyres last to the end, he might as well. And as you say, he's got a bit of a nice buffer at the moment. So I don't think he needs to worry too much. He's just got to keep it, even if he does get a bit slippery at the end, he's just got to keep it on the racetrack, really.
And we'll see whether Weston responds to that by doing 0 or 2 tyres, or what is he going to do? This is where Henson is, just in front of Samford, who we can see here, and Josh Taylor, who we're riding on board with. So Henson is quite a way away from Van Dam, and it's not going to be a feature, I don't think, for the race win, but could very much be a feature for a pro podium. Josh Taylor, who we're following here, is also a pro, but he's yet to make his final pit stop, as is Aaron Samford, who is currently the AM leader. Waiting to see whether Chris Slane, who is currently the best placed of those who's made their final pit stop, is going to be the actual race leader, or whether Samford's going to be able to retain that. I think it's pretty likely that Slane will be the new leader when Samford comes in to make his pit stop.
Yeah, I think we're going to find that out within the next sort of 10-15 minutes. We'll see what goes on here. Sam Hager there. Where is Hager at the moment? 19th place. So he's just had a lap put on him from his GTE cars in and around him after driving so well at the beginning.
Yeah, there's not many positions in front of him, is it? That really, guys are not that far ahead of him in the order, lapping him there. So disappointing for the championship leader, who's going to take a big hit today. Although guys who are close in the championship not taking advantage in terms of winning. Chris Slane is not. Well, he's not high, he's tied 10th, sorry, he's not very high up, I was going to say. He's tied 10th in the standings, so he's not going to be getting too close. Samford is 3rd in the standings, so he might get a bit closer. Lanier not taking full advantage of this. He's only just in front of Hager even now. So he's going to get away with it, I think, Sam Hager, even though it's not his best day by far. But he's had time to show off the fancy LED lights on that Ford GT, so it's been worth him being here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see there on Taylor's car as well, on his Ferrari, wing mirrors light up. I think that's quite cool.
The thing around the door.
Yeah.
I didn't think these were added to GTE. I thought the lights came in too late, so they only did it to GT3, but apparently not.
Clearly not. They're there.
They do look great.
Oh, yeah, I fully agree with. Fully agree, especially on the Ford. It does look amazing. The Ferrari's kind of like a little bit of a half-art attempt, is it? Really?
Well, where else are they going to put it? You know, they don't have the same.
On the skirt, around the skirt.
Maybe, I suppose. Yeah. But they don't have. What I'm saying, though, they don't have the same sort of design as the Fords do to be so creative. You know.
Underneath the rear bonnet.
Whatever you call that. Down the
bonnet
rear
boot.
end
Yeah.
I don't really know what that is actually called down there.
No.
It's such an unusual design, isn't it? The fact that Yeah, it's just got 2 holes in it, basically, the rear of that car.
No idea.
Very unusual design.
No idea, but it does look cool. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, I must say that there's 2 Fords competing in this competition, and I'm afraid the white lights, I think are they white lights there? Much better than the purple ones of Tom Weston, because I can barely see those. Well, they look a bit. No, it's properly dark. That looks a bit better. I still prefer the white ones, though, to be honest.
They're purple.
Is that purple?
Yes.
It looks different colour to Tom Weston's to me.
I think that could be the
Am I going
livery.
mad? Oh, maybe they're the same. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe
I
they're the
thought
same.
I was the tired one.
Yeah, you are, but it doesn't mean I can't make errors.
Ooh, Kinney's got in pit lane. What is this Marshall's crash we saw earlier? This is another one.
It's getting hard to see what's actually happening now, isn't it?
Oh, he's overcooked it into the
Whoa.
bus stop. So,
Too late at the break. I think Kinney's pit stop was a scheduled one. I don't think we're you know. I think this is just the schedule of pit stops now. Grussing's in as well. Tom Weston will not be too far away from the pit lane himself. He can go one more after this one if he chooses to. Maybe even 2 more actually. But this pit stop's coming very soon for Tom Weston.
Yeah, we'll see how close he is to Mr. Van Dam. Van Dam's only 3, what is it at the moment?
Oh goodness.
47
Sorry, that's Sanford
seconds.
off the road and very nearly collected by Hager there.
Yeah, Van Dam's 43 seconds away from Tom Weston.
Only 43. That can't be right. He's really.
Can be, yes.
Goodness me, that's not many.
47 now, apparently.
That's not many. So this is going to need to be a very short stop for. I don't think he can afford to take tyres here, Weston, can he?
Don't think so. I think
He's got to. He has got to. Oh, no tyres again, but that means two of his tyres are going to have done the whole 2.5 hours, which is quite a stretch.
Yeah, but it depends on how he's driven them as well, though, isn't it? Don't forget, whether or not he's gone and,
Oh dear.
racked them up or not, and then
Sanford
goes back.
was off there. Oh, I'm sure he was, unless it's just dark. But yeah, Weston carries on again. Yeah, as you say, it does really matter how he's been racing them. And to be fair, in that first half an hour to an hour, if you remember, we were commenting constantly on just how cautiously he was taking it. He wasn't getting involved in any of the fights that were going on in front. He was just riding round, saving a lot of fuel. I thought it was about actually earlier, but it was I guess maybe about tyres as well.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think tyres were going to be the key here, and if you're going to minimise the amount that you've got to take, I think you're in good stead. And I think Weston may have just about managed to do that as he's coming in through the left-hander now, and through Pawn he goes. It's how they're going to be at the end. That's going to be the question.
Henson, Grussing and Taylor are running nose to tail again for 4th place. There's suddenly quite a lot to look at the moment. Down into the bus stop. Taylor defending from trying to get past the Corvette of Grussing. Then there's Henson in front. And then that's Hager in another class and a lap behind these guys there as well. So this is a good fight at the moment between these guys for 4th place. And Taylor hasn't made his final stop, but Grussing and Henson have. So this is a proper battle for position in the final half an hour.
Yeah, Sanford's gone in pit lane. Lanier's gone in pit lane. Unfortunately for Marshall, he's been off again.
Oh dear. It's too fast.
Oh, yeah. Nick Marshall not loving that corner. Weston's in pit lane.
So here we go. This is the race now in GTE-PRO. Tom Weston into pit lane. And this has got to be a very short pit stop indeed. As I said earlier, I don't think he can afford to take tyres here. And, well, if he does, he's going to be behind Van Dam. But he'll have half an hour to chase him down on newer tyres. So, oh goodness, be careful with that as well. I think iRacing as well saw that as him coming out of pit lane and back in again. And that might give him a penalty. Let's see how long this stop is.
Yeah, and is he going to go up on the jacks? If he does, how long is he going to be up there for?
Yeah, it's not going to be immediate. Fuel always first. So don't panic that he's not going up yet. Watch in a few moments' time to see if he just goes or if he goes up on the jacks, and how long for. About 5 seconds per tyre.
There we go.
He does go. So how long for? I think this is all 4 tyres.
Dave Van Dam's
already passed
through.
him, by the way.
Van Dam's already up the road, dude.
All 4 tyres. This is taking an age. And now he's off. Goodness me, that's a long stop. It is 23 seconds longer than Dave Van Dam's.
And Van Dam is all the way round as
he's
well,
miles
right?
away.
Yeah, down Raj and coming into Pool.
So he's going to need to close here at more than 2 seconds a lap. And that is going to be very difficult for Weston. However, there's something odd here, because Weston was ahead of Van Dam before the stops. His stop was 23 seconds longer, but he's suddenly nearly 40 seconds behind. So there's something missing to our puzzle here.
Oh, Kinney. Oh, yeah. Coming around some. Unfortunately for Garrett Kinney. Made a mistake at the end. Grussing and Henson are very close together and battling it out there with 27 minutes to go.
I think it will just be for 4th, but although Smith might be near them, maybe it'll be a podium. I don't know. I presume you can't see any other incidents for Weston, but he must have had something, because
Nothing popped up.
Even with that long stop, he's even further behind Van Dam than he should be. I know he's a long way behind, and in a normal scenario, he'd be 20 seconds behind, which is still a long way, and I still don't think he would have won, but it still doesn't make all the maths doesn't quite add up at the moment.
Yeah, the maths ain't quite mathing, but I haven't had anything show up for Tom Weston that he's done any dramas. So, yeah, unfortunately, it is kind of how it is. But as you say, he was on the jacks for a long time.
Yeah, he was. That would just been a normal 4-tyre stop. I mean, difficult to say whether if he had cut that out, then he would have still been in the lead, to be honest, because at the moment... well, yeah, put it this way, 23 minus 2 is adding 39 at the moment. That's not right. so I don't know. Something's gone on there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There aren't any rules about having to change tyres. I don't know why for Weston his tyres didn't look in that bad shape when he was holding off Van Dam before the stops. I don't know why he didn't take the gamble and do another no-tyre stop there. I don't know.
Don't know. Can't answer that one, unfortunately, for him. But all we do know is he's got 38 seconds to chase down on Van Dam. So that's going to be an interesting one there. I think Tom took a full fuel load as well.
Is that well written enough for you?
You funny.
Thank you.
I'm not even going there. I was nearly going to let an expletive out of my mouth at that point.
I mean, maybe. I don't think, though, the fuel that Weston took was actually any longer than Van Dam's. I think the 23-second change has come from the 4 tyres that Van Dam didn't. Van Dam didn't take any.
I think that's the thing. I don't think Weston needed them. I think he's probably just gone and thrown that away because he went and decided that he was going to take all 4 tyres. So yeah.
Although, as I say, with the maths not adding up, I would say that even if you took no tyres, the current scenario wouldn't have ended up in front anyway. There's something else that has gone wrong. That's Grussing wide. That's Hager behind him, though, so shouldn't feel too much pressure from somebody laps down and not in his class.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's all getting a little bit scrappy, isn't it? You know what I mean? I wonder if people have started getting tired and making silly mistakes and not looking out. You know what I mean?
Well, it's dark and we're over 2 hours in now. Concentration will be waning, and that is the thing about this race as well, isn't it? It's oh, and Hager wow, that's a rash move, and thankfully he backed out of it late on. But Again, this is just compounding things because we're more than 2 hours in, which is going to drain the concentration anyway, and we're now into the most difficult conditions of the whole day because we're in the darkness. So it's those two things combining here to make very difficult conditions to the finish.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Tiredness is going to be one of them. Concentration, dark, your tyres going off or anything like that. I think it's going to be, a bit hard. I still did not struggle to read anything, Noxie. Give over. Oh, my God. I'm never going to live this one down. How rude.
I didn't mention it. I didn't mention anything.
You started this whole conversation a minute ago. You know what I mean? As Grissin. There we go.
Yeah, he's lost quite a lot of time letting Hager through here. Well, I'll say letting. Being passed by Hager, really. That's what's gone on here. And Hager, for his part, still on the podium in the GTE-AM class. Just shows you how much time the top GTEs have gained over some of those further behind. These guys even aren't even in the lead. Van Dam is leading in Pro, and at the moment only Slane in the GTE-AM class is still on the same lap as the GTE-PRO leader. So that's just how much the times have extended, as you'd expect in such a long race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, isn't it? You've got 2.5 hours. It's not exactly like it's a little hop down the road. You know what I mean?
It is a long race, that's for sure.
I'm not even going to read that one out, Noxie. Rude.
Oh dear, I'm personally very glad. Well, obviously we'd like Ian Knox on the racetrack, but I'm very glad he's been chatting with us instead tonight.
Oh yeah, otherwise it would have been me and you just talking to ourselves, which would have been quite interesting.
Well, yes, but
You know what I mean? But however, I do find that the grief given to me over reading is a bit extensive, should we say?
A bit, yes.
Bit over the top there, Noxie. How rude of you. You're not helping things either, Ewan. You're laughing in the background.
Just giggling.
Do you know what I mean? You're like a little schoolgirl at the moment. You're giggling in the corner.
It's very entertaining.
Yeah, so professional. We've done really well.
Yes.
Between us
Well,
this evening.
It's a long race,
It is a long race.
Fun on the way.
This is the problem. It's so long that it ends up becoming a podcast almost. Hayward is in pit lane. And I don't know why Grissin's livery keeps flickering from white to yellow, depending on the camera angle.
It's the lights. The
Really
few that
weird.
there are.
Oh, it's yellow now.
Yeah,
Now it's white again.
Yeah, it's depending on what's goodness me. Now I can't talk.
Hey!
It depends
Farmer.
what lights are showing on the reflecting.
Clip that. I'm going back to what it was now. Ewan can't talk either. That's
No.
it. But then again, look, you have to give us a break. It is 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
And
it is indeed.
I've nearly been up 24 hours. This is not even funny.
Nearly.
Nearly.
3 hours away. Three
Oh, 3 hours, yeah. I got up
You're
at
not going
4.
to push on the extra few hours to...
No, no. I'm not going to... Listen, I've been barely at the moment. I've had to stand up because I was like, I'm getting way too comfortable in this chair here currently. So I'm stood up at the moment in my office, just sort of swaying from side to side, to be blatantly honest with you. After having, I don't want to put my head down or anything. No. Otherwise you'll hear like me snoring with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, we don't want that. Chad Henson is really closing on Brandon Smith, by the way. I think they get one more fight before the end, maybe two. Kinney is behind Hager as well, but I don't think that gap's actually going to come down. I think it's much more likely that Henson will get on to Brandon Smith. Smith has only just made his final stop. This is his outlap now, and 2.7 seconds is the gap. So we'll see whether Henson can actually get there, but he'll definitely want to because, well, not least because it's any old position, but it is a podium as well. He is the championship leader. Most of his championship rivals are not here today, getting close, gaining. I mean, Thomas Weston's 8 points coming in. Dave Van Dam 10th, so they're not the concern. But in any case, it's about just consolidating his lead, really. And another podium would be very nice for him if he can get there. He's not that far away, and he's got 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah, I think you can probably safely say that the lead places are wrapped up, right? Vegard Johansson, Dave Van Dam, Chris Lane. You know, they're all fairly comfortable at the moment, aren't they? And I'm not making excuses, Noxie. Thank you very much.
We do criticise drivers for making excuses, to be fair.
We do. And they're normally quite a lot as well, aren't they? And they never they don't take ownership of anything, do they? You know, you crashed into him, right? No, I never. It was his fault. No, you hit him from behind. Not the point, he braked early. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. There's no reasoning.
I think he's saying that that's what we've become like.
I think that is what he's saying, yes, due to the fact of the reasoning of excuses coming out. Like, it's late, it's a long race, I'm tired, Noxie, I've nearly been out 24 hours. Shush. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that is his point.
Yeah, maybe. Oh well, never mind. Onwards and upwards we go, as this is all starting to get to a little bit settled down as well. Adam Sanford has just jumped back to pit lane.
Okay.
Aaron Sanford.
See why? Into the com. Oh dear.
Keep it out. No.
It's hit the wall quite hard there. So that's a retirement. I mean, he's not going to lose any more places. Tim Wybrow retired 17 laps ago and is the next one behind him. So even if Wybrow was still running, he wouldn't be able to catch him in the 17 minutes remaining. So Sanford can safely bank the points from tonight and leave now. 5 retirements from the 24 so far. I'd say over the course of 2.5 hours. That's not a bad effort. I know Spa's not a completely attritional circuit in a big way, but nevertheless, that means quite a lot of guys have kept their concentration enough to survive tonight, which is an achievement in itself.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you that they've done rather well to be here as well. And Noxie, if you want, I could just shut up for the last 16 minutes.
I don't do that. That would be just me.
Well, apparently you've been good.
I mean, we're sort of coming as a team here.
Yeah, it's a duo. It is. It's a comedy act. I mean,
especially in a comedy act.
I don't know. At times it might as well be.
Comedians would have a word about that.
Yeah.
But no, especially in a race like this, you know, it's a long one. But I've got to say, I have enjoyed it. I do enjoy longer races anyway, you know. So I guess I'm biased in that sense. But I have enjoyed it, especially because, as I said at the start of this, pretty much, you don't get this sort of length of race anymore. Since driver swaps have been added into iRacing, you either go 4 hours or more and you go for a long race and you do driver swaps, or you have a short race, a shorter sprint race of an hour and a half or whatever. And normally our races here, in case you don't see them normally, it's 45 minutes a time in an evening, and those have their place as well. You can get the evening done in an hour or an hour and a half or so, because you know, people have things to do and so on. But every now and again, throw a long race in there. I think placed in the middle of the season as well, like it is here. We've had 3 rounds, got 3 rounds after this one. I think it's well placed, and yeah, I've enjoyed it, I must say.
Yeah, it's definitely been good. I'm not going to lie. I've enjoyed myself, even if I have taken on Noxie and loads of abuse. But that's fine.
Loads of abuse?
Yeah, I've had loads
Some
of
abuse.
No, look at the messages. They're all very, very derogatory. As well, Noxie there. Oh, dearie me. On that one, right, broken into the final 15 minutes, and everybody's still a little bit further back. Even Henson's 4.5 seconds back away from Smith now, so clearly Henson's had some issues as well. JP, do you still think it's too long? I think it's made it interesting to see who's got the strategy, etc. sorted out. I still go a little bit. I still would, go a little bit shorter. I'd probably go 2 hours or hour and a half. I still think this is a little bit long, but no, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. The strategies have been very interesting. Nobody's really pitted in and around each other and saying, oh yeah, they're on the same schedule as so and so. People have gone long, people have gone short. Tyres have been a big thing. 4, 2, none. And I think some people might be kicking themselves there as well that they've taken tyres. Do you do the 2, 3? I think that's supposed to say top 3 have enough fuel.
Well, on that, I think, Collier definitely does. I'm presuming we're talking overall, Travis.
Yeah.
Overall, Collier definitely does. As long as this race doesn't go a lap longer than expected, then Johansson and Laird do as well. But you never know how long a race is going to be. We know it's 2 hours and a half. But you never know how many laps it's going to be. I mean, we'll see. I'll check again when Johansson next crosses the line. But he can't go any further than 71 laps here. That would mean he's got 6 laps to go after this one. As long as he's not got any more than 6 laps to go when he crosses the line, then he should be fine. Because he did 24 laps in the previous stint, so did Stephen Laird, and so they should be fine as long as there's not more than 6 laps to go, which I don't think there is. So, I think the top 3 are all good on field. In fact, I think everybody in the whole field is good on field now, actually. Yeah,
they should all be able to get back on that one, and hopefully nobody should have to come in for any splash and dash. I think Travis is hoping that somebody has to come in, yes. So Kaysen can move up a little bit there. So fair play, Travis. I would have done the same, to be honest. And by the way, Noxie's bacon and eggs were lovely.
Yeah, we never checked back.
No.
To be honest, I didn't think they'd be back from the shops and cooked and eaten quite so quickly. But
then again, I suppose that was about an hour ago, wasn't it?
Well, was it? Yeah, maybe.
2 hours ago.
Time's flying.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
Yeah, it could have been 2 hours ago, yeah.
I think the fact that we're looking at 2-minute lap times is probably, the reason why time's flying. Because to do 2 laps and 4 minutes have gone by. See, I can do maths at the same time.
Well done.
No, thanks, mate. 2 times 2. You know what I mean?
Put your fingers away again now.
I have, yeah. I've put my socks back on. It's not the point. Shush. Stop it. With 12 minutes to go. And Johansson is still ruling with 1 minute 10. So I think he probably could bring this down as a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so, he doesn't need to slow down anymore because he's not in danger of going above. I mean, again, I talked about the average lap time that he would need earlier. It would need to have been better than a 2:04. Now, he has done a 2:03 actually in this stint, so he can go quicker than, obviously it'd be difficult to retain that every lap, especially with traffic, but now is at the average you would need to take this race to an unexpected amount of laps would be less than 2 minutes a lap. That would be more than 3 seconds faster than anybody's ever gone here in this race. And so, and he'd have to do that 6 times in a row, 7 times in a row. So that's definitely not going to happen. He's fine on fuel, and it's been a very good drive for him, hasn't it? He's got more than a minute over the field, as you say. He can just lay off a little bit now, but look at these lap times. They are not going any slower. That 2:03 would have been while he was clear of any traffic and he was really pushing on. I'd be surprised if we see that again. But maybe he is pushing on this one as well. He hasn't had any traffic so far on this lap either. It's just been a brilliant drive from him. And as I mentioned earlier, he will be, I think, the lone championship leader in front of Kaysen Collier after this race.
I think you might be right. To be honest with you. Did you know, though, Bigard has had a podium in every single race?
No, I didn't, but that does make sense.
He won round 1, 3rd place at Road Atlanta, 3rd place at Detroit, and then, touch wood, he should win round number 4.
Yeah, let's not have any curse at the very end here, if possible.
No, I don't want him to. I'm just saying, touch wood. Hopefully he will be able to come over the line and wrap it up. So, fair play to him. He's at a podium in every single race. By the looks of it, out of all 3 classes, he might. No, Henson is the other one. Henson won race number 1, 2nd in race number 2, 2nd in race number 3, round 3. GTE-AM.
He's off the podium now, though.
Tonight. Hagar. Where is Sam Hagar? He's in second. Yeah. Unfortunately, if he had he would have been the only driver to win 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah, difficult for him after that technical problem. He's still driven pretty well, but that's cost him a lot of time, that problem for Hager. So that run for him comes to an end. And Ian Knox giving a shout out to Rhys Bartlett, by the way, today. I think he's pretty much the only name in this field we haven't mentioned almost at all so far. It's been a very consistent drive from him, though. Qualified 7th, so clearly not the quickest in qualifying, and a bit of a miscommunication there, but a clean and consistent drive is going to get him a very solid 4th place finish here. And that's what these longer races are all about. As long as you can stay out of trouble and make sure you get to the end with a clean car and whatever. Doesn't matter that he is maybe about to go 2 laps down to Johansson. He is still 4th place in this race and doing better than more than half the GTP field, and certainly better than those who've had problems, crashes, etc. so far. So shout out to him, because we haven't mentioned him at all yet.
Yeah, but if you don't get mentioned, it means you're doing it right.
Well, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aaron Sanford, passing Storm, just flashed all my power off and on.
Oh.
But the PC didn't like that.
No, I can imagine.
Oh, as we talk about Rhys Bartlett, he just goes and runs wide in the bus stop. No, I shouldn't have said anything. Just click off him and leave him alone. Let's go back up to our leader, Vegard Johansson, who's out in front there. So, yeah, so Aaron Sanford, big power surge, and PC said no. Well, there we go.
So that's another retirement in the GTE-AM class. That's number 4 in GTE-AM. Still 4 of them left, though.
Yep. Should mean they all score points. It should be happy. Lap 68. Johansson's got 3 more laps worth of fuel, which is only 6 minutes and 9 seconds.
3 laps more of fuel? Where have you got that from?
71, you said.
Yeah, no. Yeah, oh.
No?
That's 3 laps after this one, sorry, not...
So 72 then?
No. 68 plus 3 is 71.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm so confused.
I thought you meant 3 laps more, as in he's got 3 laps from now, not 3 laps after this one.
No. He's got to get to lap 71 on the fuel, yes?
Yeah.
If he goes to 72, he could be up there.
Yeah.
So he's got to slow down then. Because 3 laps at the moment at 2:03 is only 6:09.
I'm just going to let you have a think about this for a little bit longer, and
Then again, I suppose he ain't technically at the end of this lap.
I know.
Oh, shut up.
He's off now as well. Goodness me. We don't need that in the last moments of this race either.
No.
It's Hayward unlapping himself again, isn't it? From 6th place.
I believe so, yes.
It's an Acura, so I guess it has to be. But yeah, that's not ideal for Johansson at all. Cannot afford a crash opposite. And now Hayward's letting him back through again, as they have this traffic jam towards the final turn. Yeah, less than 6 minutes to go. He's timed this well now, Johansson. And he's got 3 more. As long as he's saved the fuel that he should have done already, then he will go on and win this race. I think actually he could do a lap splash and dash. He's got 1:15, so he might actually have time to do that, but he doesn't need to. He's just cruising at this point.
Well,
so on his way to a race victory.
Yeah, if he doesn't need to, I wouldn't bother. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, if he's got... Yeah, I would only go in if it's going to be very, very close. I wouldn't go in if, I know I'm going to make it there as well. Noxie's blaming, apparently the commentator's curse is rubbing off on him.
Yeah, for Rhys Bartlett, after we mentioned him once and he went off.
I believe that's actually a commentator's coincidence.
Depends who you talk to.
Zach Sweeney.
Yes.
If you talk to him, it's a coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah. I know commentators make quite a lot of it. I don't really care.
No. I mean, this is the thing. I think it could be just a coincidence that we're talking about them at the time that they go off. I don't think there's any.
Well, if it does exist, it does make races more exciting for us. So that's the main thing, as far as I can see it.
Yeah, but don't you ever just want to jump onto a driver that you, I don't know, for whatever reason you don't get on with?
I wouldn't want them to crash all the time, no.
You just jump on him and talk about him and then hope that he'll go and stick it in the wall.
No, that would feel... Oh, goodness, that was a scary moment. Not sure which Corvette that was, but running wide into the gravel. So nearly coming back on and sliding straight into the race leader. This was when Hayward come to an almost complete stop to let Johansson back through again.
Yeah. Very weird. I don't know why
Quite textbook, that.
No, I don't know why he didn't take the corner, to be honest with you, but there we go. Hopefully I'll still be able to read after this. There's Noxie, apparently.
Is he trying to make you say stuff?
I don't know, to be honest with you. The thing is, I feel bad for not reading it out. Like, it's almost like from when I used to stream long time ago, where you read out comments. And I always feel bad that people put their hard-earned thought comments in the chat. And you're like, so I should really read them out? Do you know what I mean? Like, just because they want to get acknowledged or, like, feel like they're going to be acknowledged.
I think just at least react to them is fine, you know.
Yeah.
Because he could make you say anything now.
Well, it could
if
do.
he wants to.
This is why I read them before I read
I'm
them out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I've been caught out too many times with stupid things where I've started reading it all out and I go, ugh.
Oh no, I should have stopped there.
Yeah, I'm going to stop now before I get to the end of that sentence. So, you know, at the end of the day, we do proofread them, but it's just nice to read them and have the interaction with people, isn't it, really? Otherwise, let's face it, this would have been a very boring stream.
I'm glad he's been chatting along with us here tonight, and other people who've chipped in as well a little bit earlier on.
And you made you and giggle for about 5 minutes like a little child, so that's fine.
What's that? That's oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't deny it.
Fine. I'm not going to say that.
Is this one of these thought processes where you thought before you spoke?
Just having a thought process. No, not particularly. 2 minutes to go. Yeah, this will be the final lap then, as they just tick under 2 minutes to go. None of the gaps that I was previewing earlier have indeed come down in the end, so it is going to be just as they run to the finish now. A couple more cars for Johansson to lap, and you'll see the checker flag. There's the white flag though. As he crosses the line, he holds a very big advantage over the rest. Hayward didn't quite have enough fuel to go to the end. Needs one more lap of fuel, but most of the major contenders certainly do have enough, and just a couple more lap cars for Johansson to put a lap on, and he'll be able to take the checkered flag again this season and take another victory and take a step forward in this championship. We're in the second half of the season now, by the way. Only 3 rounds to go after this one. And it's a crucial, important and very good time for Johansson to be taking the championship lead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's ideal scenario for him at the moment. For Vigard Johansson, he's going into Mugello in 2 weeks' time, being able to defend the championship lead. And I think you are right. I think he will become a championship leader after this, and he's going to have to go try and get Mugello down and see how long he can keep it for, because, you know, let's be real, he does deserve it. Any Norwegian that's up at, I don't know, what's the time over there now, 2 hours a day ahead?
I thought it was only 1, but either way.
It doesn't really matter, either way he's awake, which is just bonkers. But, you know, fair play to him.
And look at the way he's ripping through traffic, even on the last lap here. The Porsche GT car, and now through Reece Bartlett as well, who's trying to stay out of the way. Goodness me. He is not waiting around, even on this very final lap. Pushing as hard as he can right to the very end. This has been a brilliant drive. Again, it would have been so fascinating to watch him and Andy Pratt fight for the win, because they would have been super close. And it would have been a great fight between the two of them. However, Johansson can only play the conditions in front of him. And he's played those very, very well indeed. He comes into the final chicane now. And the mini endurance round in the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series is going to be taken by Vegard Johansson. He flashes the lights across the line here at Spa after 2.5 hours of racing. He's more than a minute in front of the rest of the field. He takes the biggest race win of the season in the showpiece event of the season. And he takes the championship lead at a very, very important time as well. The GTE leaders are around the other part of the circuit, by the way, and they're running together pretty much. Chris Slane only just up the road from Dave Van Dam as they complete their final laps of the race. Van Dam is going to be credited with an extra lap compared to the rest of the field, as is Chris Slane, which is maybe inaccurate for how close these classes have been tonight, but it's nice for them to, at least on the result sheet, look like they were a lap ahead of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. They are literally, that's Chris Slane just up the road in front. So, yeah. Good job. Well done.
They are pretty much the last ones as well, actually. Not quite exactly the last ones, but going to be two of the last drivers to cross the line as well and enjoy their victories. Always a thing in GTE, isn't it, that you might cross the line with no time remaining, but you might have to carry on depending on where the leader is. You've always got to factor in, you know, at a circuit like Spa, an extra 4.5 minutes, just in case there's an extra lap for the leader and an extra lap for you, because you could be crossing the line closer to 2 hours and 35 minutes than it is 2 hours and 30 for this event. But Slane and Van Dam have absolutely done that. Not too much in the championship's going to change in these classes. Chad Henson's still going to be leading in the pros, Sam Hager still in the AMs. Neither of those two features of the race win in either of their classes tonight, but congratulations to Chris Slane, who comes out the final corner now to take the GTE-AM victory, and congratulations to Dave Van Dam, who takes the GTE-PRO victory as well. They're going to be credited with a lap ahead of the rest of this field at the end of the 2.5 hour race here tonight. A fantastic drive from them both. And indeed them all, as Lanier comes up towards the line. He will be the final driver over, and that will be that. It is Vegard Johansson who wins here from Spa by 1 minute 19 in the end. Laird really slowed down towards the end, Stephen Laird, but Kason Collier couldn't get to him in the end. Reece Bartlett finishes fourth with a very consistent race. Parker Renquist rounding out the top five. Damien Hayward and Sam Cougar the other ones who finished. Andy Pratt sadly not making the checkered flag. In GTE Pro, Dave Van Dam credited with an extra lap over the rest in front of Tom Weston, who he fought with so hard throughout. Brandon Smith third, with Chad Henson finishing off the podium for the first time this season. Philip Grussing rounds out the top five. Josh Taylor in sixth place. Garrett Kinney and Jeff Manning both 2 laps down in the end of that race. And in GTE-AM, we saw the most retirements of any class. Chris Slane, though, takes the victory in front of Sam Hager. Justin Lanier and Nick Marshall were both 2 laps down. Aaron Sanford retired very late on there. Tim Wybrow in the middle of the race. And in the early part of the race, Olivo and Chris Romano were both out of the race early. I believe we can just drag the people straight across, starting with Vegard Johansson, who's won the race tonight. Vegard, welcome in. Congratulations on taking a race victory here tonight from Spa. In the end, by minute 19, just how difficult was that race to stay concentrated for 2.5 hours around here?
Okay. Vegard,
can you hear us? I don't think he can.
No.
We might have to come back round again and try him later. He might be off celebrating. I don't know. Let's try a different class winner, shall we? I'm not sure. Yeah, that is Dave Van Dam, who is there. I hope we can just drag him.
The lap 3 or 4 with Kaysen.
Sorry, Dave. I've just I've just dragged you into the commentary box. I hope you don't mind if we just have a quick chat with you
Sure.
at the end of that race. Sorry for interrupting your conversation. It was a great battle to watch, I've got to say, between yourself and Tom Weston. Coming into that final pit stop phase, what were you expecting? Were you expecting to be in the lead, in second place, chasing? What was in your mind coming into those final stops?
So the problem was I made a little calculation error for the first pit stop, and I overshot my pit stop, and I needed to reverse, but I hadn't got any more fuel. So I needed to restart the car, which gives you a bit of extra juice, and I need to put it in reverse. And it cost me 9 seconds. So I was behind in second place. And from that point on, I was like, okay, I can't feel safe anymore. I need to, I need to put the speed on. And I was just in a chase. And when I saw I was within 2 seconds, I think it was, I know that an undercut on Spa is going to work 9 out of 10 times. And I just, did that. I think Thomas had a spin with something because there was one lap he did a 2:35, which was, a bit of luck on my side. But all in all, I think, strategically it worked like a glove, and I did the best I could out there. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And what do you think this can do for the rest of the season now? Because coming in today, you're 10th place in the GTE-PRO points. What are we going to be seeing you much throughout the rest of the season? And do you hope that you can continue this?
I hope, man. I mean, I've been very unlucky with 4 DNFs in a row. This was the redemption race, let's say it like this. And let's see what we can do, and let's hope I can put on a show on the next race again and grab some points. And we'll see towards the end of the season if I'm up there.
Absolutely. Well, for tonight, congratulations on taking a great race victory, and thanks for coming to jump in with chat to us at the end as well.
Thank you, man.
Right, thanks very much, Dave Van Dam there in first place in GTE Pro. I can't actually see Chris Slane from GTE. Did I say GT3? I mean GTE, of course. So I'll just give Vegard one more try before we go and sign off here tonight. Vegard, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello. Good to have you with us. Congratulations on the race victory tonight overall by over a minute in the end. Just tell us how difficult that was to stay concentrated for 2.5 hours out there tonight.
It was a nightmare. Good Lord. And I forgot to set up my fan, so I am absolutely soaked right now.
Wow, that does sound uncomfortable as well. Talk us through what that early part of the race was a bit like, because you end up winning by a long way, but Andy Pratt was in the lead there by a little bit of a margin to begin with, and you were closing on him, but how were you seeing that fight before he unfortunately disconnected tonight?
So I realized that if I tried to beat him on pace, it was going to beat me because he was quicker. So then I decided to change up strategies, and I was fortunate that Stephen Laird in the other BMW, he said that he was trying to do a 2-stop only. So when I realized that, I then tried to fuel save more, and obviously when Andy unfortunately disconnected, never like to see the opponent lose in that way, then I could fuel save even more, and that then secured the victory.
Yeah, well, congratulations on taking the victory here tonight from Spa Vega. Thanks for jumping in to chat to us at the end as well. And look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Vegard Johansson, who is chatting to us at the end here tonight. Unfortunately, no Chris Slane, but congratulations to him as well for winning in GTE-AM. That's just about it from us tonight, though, in the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series. As I say, not every week in this series. Remember to come back in 2 weeks' time from Imola for the next round of the championship. Be back to the 45-minute sprint races for round 5 of our championship as the championship battles in all 3 categories get more and more interesting. Make sure you join us for that. As I say, I've been Under Lyric alongside James Parfitt here tonight for this broadcast. Until we see you again in 2 weeks' time from Imola, it's goodbye for now.